Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico. This Saturday night here in Waco, Texas, the Baylor fans hoping some haute cuisine will be a harbinger of things to come in their matchup against TCU, as the Baylor line brings enthusiasm into one of the most heated rivalries within the state of Texas. The 120th meeting for the TCU Horned Frogs and the Baylor Bears, both who come in on two-game winning streaks, and we are glad to have you with us tonight here at McLean Stadium. Mike Cousins and Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonantoni down on the field. These teams feeling optimism with two of the top three teams in the league losing earlier today.
No question. You just saw two of the titans of the league go down earlier. There's going to be a lot of fireworks in the Big 12 as we move through the month of November. There's no clear-cut teams that are headed to Arlington just yet, but tonight we're in for a great matchup. If you like quarterback play, you're going to get to see two of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12 Conference, in Sawyer Robertson, Josh Hoover. But the story is really Savion Williams, the wide receiver that 2 weeks ago, coming out of the bye week for the Utah game, got moved back to the quarterback position in the Wildcat formation, and he has been absolutely electric, making explosive play after explosive play the last 2 weeks. It's really changed how this entire TCU Horned Frogs offense has played, and I expect to see more of it tonight.
And as we take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Carfax, the focus stays in the backfield for Baylor.
It does, and the reason why Bryson Washington, Dawson Pendergrass, they're going to get the most credit. Pendergrass career day last week against Oklahoma State, but this is a football team that has rushed for nearly 600 yards combined the last 2 weeks. That breaks down to 8.5 yards per carry. There's no team in the country that is running the football better, and you see why. Pendergrass just will not be denied. He is a very difficult running back to bring down. He's big, he's physical, he runs hard. And then his quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, not only is he doing it through the air, he's adding to the explosive run game and having a lot of success on the ground. So I expect a high-flying football game tonight here in Waco.
Points aplenty, no doubt, for Baylor and TCU. And kickoff comes your way next here from Waco. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Here tonight in Waco, the Baylor line rushes the field and then rushes to their seats. The first years get the best seats in the house to be antagonists to the visitors from Fort Worth, TCU tonight. Baylor and TCU both coming in, Stormy Bonantoni, on two-game winning streaks, and the Bears very confident coming into this game.
No question about it. And we know his tenure has had some highs and lows. He led this team to what many consider to be the best season in program history in 2021 when they win the Big 12 and the Sugar Bowl. But the 13 combined wins since has led to some hot seat talk that's been galvanizing for many of these players. Matt Jones, one of Baylor's core leaders, told me unprompted there is a lot of fight for their head coach, and this staff said, quote, "We want to win for Aranda," and said if they can continue to come together down the stretch, how they have the last two games, that could be the all-time career highlight for him.
Well, opportunity beckons with losses by Iowa State, their first loss of the year earlier today against Texas Tech. That game was on ESPN. And Willie Fritz ahead of schedule with Houston with a win over Kansas State. And our kickoff goes to TCU, which won the toss. They want the ball first, and they'll start 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line, led by Josh Hoover, who in 14 career starts has thrown for 300 yards in 10 of them.
Well, I tell you what, Mike, this kid is just so resilient. He had 3 turnovers in the ball game last week against Texas Tech, but the more impressive thing was how he bounced back from those and led 3 scoring drives in the 4th quarter to lead his team back and get the victory at home over Texas Tech. When he's not turning the football over, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. Just look at his stat line. He's top 10 in most categories.
So the second-year starter swings it out to J.P. Richardson on first down, who stumbles his way past the line of scrimmage for a 3-yard pickup. The senior out of Missouri City, Texas, with a pass caught in 36 straight games.
Well, we've talked a lot about Josh Hoover. We've talked about Savion Williams, but there's a stable of playmakers on this TCU football team. You just saw J.P. Richardson. So for Baylor tonight, it's really pick your poison, because across the board at the skill positions, the Horned Frogs are elite.
And in the early going, second snap of the night, it's Savion Williams. 3 more on the ground, and he's been their leading rusher each of the last 2 games.
Yeah, he is. He's averaging a little over 7 yards per carry, which has been huge because until 2 weeks ago, this is a TCU football team that just was one-dimensional. They were only having success through the air. You put Savion Williams in the backfield, and all of a sudden the run game was sparked.
Hoover with time on 3rd down and 4. Throws on the run, and the pass incomplete, intended for the LSU transfer Jack Bech, their leading wide receiver. And so the Horned Frogs, with this electric offense, fail to pick up a 1st down and get set to punt.
Well, that's a great start to the football game for the Baylor Bears. Exactly what they want for their home crowd. You can hear it through the TV. They're juiced up, excited, ready to go. That was a great stop. Nowhere to go with the football for Josh Hoover. Great job of the secondary by the Bears to force the punt on the opening series.
And they've got to be careful here as Ethan Craw boots it away to Josh Cameron, the nation's leading punt returner, but gets him on a back pedal as he slips 1 tackle inside the 10. And there's a flag at the end of the return. He comes into the night averaging 23 yards per return, which is best in the country. And here in the early going, we'll hear from the referee, David Alvarez, who comes over to check on the infraction.
Mike, special teams are going to play a big factor in this ball game tonight. I'm surprised TCU even gave Josh Cameron an opportunity to return that punt. You touched on how dynamic and explosive he is.
That was a heck of a boot. 56 yards there for Craw.
You're going to see the hold at the bottom of your screen. We mentioned the great start by the Baylor defense. Get the ball back. You can see the right arm and the late tackle by 39. Easy call for the officials.
So a 60-yard field flip with the punt and the penalty yardage. And it's Robertson with a cross-field throw on 1st down, complete to Hal Presley, who in trying to right his stance steps out of bounds.
Well, Sawyer Robertson, he is arguably the hottest quarterback in the entire country. He took over the starting role week 3 after the injury to Daquan Finn. And you see the numbers, 4 straight games with 3+ passing touchdowns, and he's also doing it with his legs on the ground.
Hand off to Bryson Washington. Right to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and short with Johnny Hodges, the linebacker, coming up to make the stop. As both teams try and avoid a 3-and-out to begin their respective evenings.
Well, and this is where Baylor wants it. They want the opportunity for Sawyer Robertson to be able to use his legs to pick up 1st downs if need be.
A bit of an impediment there from his own team for Washington, but he trudges forward, gets the 1st down with a gain of 5. And it's been successive, really great weeks for the redshirt freshman running back out of Franklin, Texas. 17 for 78 last week, a career-high 116 2 weeks ago against Texas Tech, and an injured Horned Frog at the end of the play. So early timeout with TCU moving on its first possession. Early injury stoppage. Hakeem Aziz-Olaya, the senior from Katy, Texas, coming off the field. Hopefully all right there for TCU against a Baylor offense that the last couple weeks has torn it up on the ground.
No question, a complete offensive explosion here in Waco. And you look at the numbers, TCU, for the most part of this season, they have not been good at stopping the run. They've been decent the last 2 weeks, but you talk about a Baylor offense, almost 600 rush yards combined the last 2 weeks. Big test for the Horned Frogs tonight.
Time against a 4-man rush. Bryson Washington with the catch out of the backfield. A gain of 9, maybe 10. They're on the throw to the outside.
Baylor doing a really good job of getting this offense into rhythm early on in this football game. Offensive coordinator Jake Spavital, first season here in Waco, doing a really good job the last couple weeks getting his playmakers the ball early.
Some space up the middle. It's Washington tripped up across midfield. Rips off 17 on the run, and Jamel Johnson, the safety, the stop.
That was a fantastic block by the tight end, Michael Trigg. You're going to see him working inside on linebacker Johnny Hodges. Lays a perfect block, and that's what sparks Washington to the second level.
Throw right into a seam of the defense. Isaiah Hankins with his first catch of the night. And they are taking big chunks of yardage. 17 followed by 15 through the air. Bud Clark, the tackle.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line. Robertson had all day to throw the football. This is an offensive line. They've only surrendered 1 sack in the last 3 games. They're playing at a high level and giving their quarterback a lot of time to operate.
First action of the night for Dawson Pendergrass as he takes the handoff. Coming off of a career-high 142 yards on just 6 carries last week. There goes for 2.
Yeah, he really had an outstanding game against Oklahoma State, and it was the explosive runs. You just said it. He only had 6 carries, but almost rushed for 150 yards. He's just so difficult to bring down. He's a big body back, 6'2", 220 pounds. Really tough to get to the ground.
First a look to Hal Presley. A check down throw is incomplete off the fingertips of Pendergrass. Tell you what, though, here early going for Baylor, there's been a lot of time for Robertson to read his progression.
He has all day, and it's why I want to talk about this offensive line. When you give a quarterback that much time to throw, eventually he's going to make you pay. You see the incomplete pass there, but TCU, they're going to have a challenge. Andy Avalos, defensive coordinator, he has to find a way, whether it's stunts, twists, second-level pressures, secondary pressures. He has to find a way to confuse Robertson and get him off his spot, because right now he's way too comfortable.
Robertson rolls, he gets hit, he gets dropped back at the 44-yard line. Johnny Hodges makes the sack. Loss of 8, and it's 4th down and not in field goal range.
Well, that's a great play by Johnny Hodges, but I want you to look in the middle of your screen. You're going to see number 1, Trigg, the tight end. He's wide open early in the down. Sawyer Robertson, who's been playing really good football as of late, just doesn't see his tight end, nowhere else to go with the football, and he makes the cardinal sin. He's been making so many good decisions, but he can't lose that field goal range. They had a chance at 3 points. He takes the sack, and now Baylor has to punt.
Palmer Williams has an absolutely booming leg. He's got to tone it back here just a little bit, and that gets down at the 5. So Baylor started with a long field, and they reciprocate, giving one to TCU after a 36-yard punt down nicely. So TCU comes into this game a negative 11 turnover differential, 2nd worst in college football. The only team worse is Southern Miss, and they're 1-7 coming into today. TCU much better at 5-3.
Yeah, it's really amazing that TCU has a winning record. You know, when you turn the football over that often, you struggle stopping the run. You really don't have a run game until about 2 weeks ago. That's not a formula for winning football games, but I think it shows how good of a job Sonny Dykes has done with the cards he's been dealt and the playmakers that this Horned Frogs team has.
Savion Williams in the backfield, and they change it up, have him hand it off to Trent Battle. Trudges forward for 2. Well, you talk about how difficult it is to have a winning record with that many turnovers. The Frogs are one of 4 teams in the country with a winning record and have a negative 5 turnover differential or worse. North Texas, Michigan, and the Ohio Bobcats are the others. Hoover's got time and finds some opportunity on the outside. A little extra effort. Savion Williams does a little bit of everything, picks up 7 through the air.
Well, you're going to see how athletic Savion Williams is. He slips at the top of his route, but he's still able to get up and make the reception. When TCU is able to get the football into his hands early in the games, good things tend to happen, and that's why you see him in the Wildcat position. Talking to Sonny Dykes, he said, listen, when we were reviewing our film during the bye week, we just needed to find a way to get Williams the football early in games.
And they're doing that aplenty. And this is an offense that Sonny Dykes says we want it to be more balanced, certainly, and it's certainly tilted in the passing game because their wideouts this year as a group are averaging 20 catches a game, which is most among Power 4 teams. Play action for Hoover. And he finds Williams with a blocker in front. A chance for a big play here as he runs out of bounds right near midfield. That was great play design there. 27 yards up the sideline for Williams.
Yeah, a lot of good by the Horned Frogs. Great protection. Gave the quarterback plenty of time to work all the way through his progression. And Savion Williams is his check down. You see he has Battle out in front as a lead blocker. He was waving him, saying, hey, come on, we got some open space. Let's take it. Great pickup by the Horned Frogs.
Trent Battle left tackle with good space. And gets undercut, running off to the edge by the corner, Chateau Reed, after a pickup of 4.
You know, Mike, you talk about Sonny Dykes wanting to be more of a balanced football team. I tell you what, Dave Aranda, he's going to have his hands full tonight. This offensive package that TCU is presenting right now, it's a defensive coordinator nightmare. You've seen 3 different quarterbacks. Battle's lined up at quarterback, Williams is lined up at quarterback, and then obviously Josh Hoover. There's going to come a point in this game when Savion Williams, not only is he going to run the football from the quarterback position, he's going to throw it, former high school quarterback.
At Marshall High School in far East Texas, about 4 hours from campus in Fort Worth. 5 wide here and all sorts of time for Hoover with a dime down the middle of the field. DJ Rogers, the tight end, sets up first and goal for TCU.
Well, that's just a perfect play call by Kendall Briles. Easy throw and catch for Hoover and Rogers. You're going to see Rogers just work the seam. It's a too-high zone defense. This is a perfect play call for it. This is exactly where you want to attack on the field. Great explosive gain for the Horned Frogs.
Fake the handoff, Cam Cook, wide open in the end zone. A one-handed touchdown catch. What a grab in the back of the end zone for Jordan Bayley. Just his 6th catch of the season. TCU on the board.
What a phenomenal catch. Now we just got to make sure the foot was in bounds. Oh, yeah. What a play. What a play by Jordan Bayley. Unbelievable. Incredible catch, body control, recognizing where he's at on the field. Doesn't get much better than that.
All the elements of a catch easily satisfied there on a quick strike drive. And Kyle Lemmerman for the extra point. Makes it 7-0 Horned Frogs. Well, there was some worry that TCU's offense was as one-dimensional as the lyrics to an AC/DC song. And tonight they put the ball on the ground, punch through, go to the air, 40 yards to Rogers, and this to Jordan Bayley to cap off the scoring drive.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico. Get more with Geico.
2022, a rush job to get the field goal team on, but Griffin Kell, 40 yards out, knocks it through. TCU, number 4 in the country, stays perfect, 29-28 the final in that magical first year in Fort Worth for Sonny Dykes. Both teams come in having won 2 in a row. TCU 5-3, Baylor 4-4 as these teams square off for the 120th time. And after TCU's longest scoring drive of the year in terms of yards at 95, there's an unforced error on a ball out of bounds on the kickoff from Kyle Lemmerman.
I want to go back to this touchdown, and I want you to look at Matt Jones, the linebacker, and Corey Gordon right here, and then you're going to see Bayley come in here, act like he's blocking a release, and the action, the play action on the run gets the defenders to keep their eyes in the backfield on the running back. When you get your run game going, this is the type of action you get out of a defense, and that's exactly why Jordan Bayley was wide open for the touchdown. Terrific one-handed grab. And that's what you get. That's what Sonny Dykes wants out of his offense. He wants to be a balanced team because he knows, even though they're averaging well over 300 yards a game in the air, if they can get the football going, they're going to be really tough to stop.
And venture to guess, you'll probably see that catch on SportsCenter's Top 10 tonight. Bryson Washington, the carry on first down. He gets stood up by Devin Deal, who played all but 1 snap last week in TCU's 35-34 win over Texas Tech.
Devin Deal playing some really good football for the Horned Frogs the last couple weeks with Cooper McDonald out of the lineup.
Play action, one look, and it's a good one to Josh Cameron. who takes that for a first down.
It's a great job by Robertson, recognizing the one-on-one matchup outside. If TCU's going to bring pressure, you're going to get those one-on-one matchup. Robertson gets the football out of his hand early and lets Josh Cameron do the rest.
And he's a big dude, 6'1", 218, looks more like a running back than he does a wide receiver. Straight ahead, somersault run. Bryson Washington gets a pair.
Abe Kamara coming in to make the tackle, plays the nickelback, the slot corner for the Horned Frogs. He's a very active player, 6 foot 190. Talking to the coaching staff this week, they say pound for pound, maybe the strongest guy on the team. They really like him in blitz packages.
Really wide splits here on this second down setup. Spread out the defense, give themselves some room to operate for Washington once more. 4 more yards for the redshirt freshman with Nnamdi Obiazor the tackle.
Well, that's really good use of offensive formation by Jake Spavital. He's spreading out the TCU Horned Frogs, so it was only a 5-man box on defense. If you're going to get that against a team that's rushed for nearly 600 yards the last 2 weeks, you're definitely going to get positive yards in the run game.
And that's a first down run. I think that's one of the big questions, too, facing Baylor as they came into this game. The defenses they faced the last 2 weeks were the bottom 2 in the Big 12.
Well, and listen, TCU, they've had their struggles stopping the run this year. They've been better the last 2 weeks. But I tell you what, Jake Spavital, he's just really in rhythm right now as a play caller. He understands the personnel that he has. He knows what their strengths are, and he's playing to it. And like I said earlier, Sawyer Robertson, he's one of the hottest quarterbacks in college football right now.
At least 3 touchdowns in 4 straight games. Wide open, Michael Trigg across the middle. An integral part of their defense. We saw him blocking earlier. This catch is good for 16 yards.
Well, we're just going to keep saying it until TCU affects the quarterback and gets him off his spot. Got to give a ton of credit to the Baylor offensive line. Robertson had a ton of time to scan the field and find his tight end wide open over the middle in the zone defense.
I don't know about you. I didn't do well in Trigg, but Sawyer Robertson seems to connect well with his tight end Trigg. Pendergrass, 3 more.
I want to go back a play ago. Keep an eye on the offensive line. Just a 4-man rush by TCU. You see the double team up front. There's one-on-one. But Sawyer Robertson, he's yet to have to move off his spot, but maybe one play early on in this football game, Andy Avalos is going to have to find a way to start affecting the quarterback for Baylor.
Late substitutions for TCU. Baylor loads up big. That's the tight end Trigg and the fullback Gavin Yates stacked to the bottom of the formation. Defense thinks it might be a run. It does end up being that by Sawyer Robertson, who's quite capable. 41-yard rushing touchdown last week. Scrambles there for 6.
He's more than capable. You just said it. He absolutely torched the Oklahoma State defense last week on plays exactly like that. Climbing up through the pocket, getting out in space. That was a good job by linebacker Max Carroll getting the quarterback to the ground.
Last week, the rushing total for Baylor was their most in a Big 12 game since 2016 against Texas. So almost a decade since they'd been that good on the ground. Last man onto the field, Caleb Fox going off. And as the play clock winds down, Baylor is forced to take a timeout. Therein lies the peril of one substitution for another. Baylor looking to match scores with TCU. Real chaos in the top of the Big 12 today. BYU is on a bye. They play Utah next week. But Texas Tech upsetting number 11 Iowa State, scoring a touchdown in the last minute. And Houston with a 5-point win over K-State. Houston gets back-to-back wins for the first time since the end of 22 and into 23. So welcome you back here to Waco. Mike Cousins, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonantoni, Bryson Washington inside the 10 on Baylor's second drive.
Wow, that's a great pickup on 3rd down by the Baylor Bears. Something that needed to happen, trying to match scores with TCU right now. Sticking with the run game. This current drive, 7 runs compared to 2 passes, picking up right where they left off last week.
Tight end, a fullback to either side. That's a big window, and Bryson Washington sprints right through it. On the 10th play of the drive, he's got 6 for the Bears. Following up back-to-back weeks with huge rushing totals. They go 10 plays, 65 yards, and out of 10 plays on the drive, 8 of them were runs.
Well, that's just clinic offensive line play. Bryson Washington's going to get the credit for the touchdown, but I want you to keep an eye on this left side of the offensive line and what they do after the snap of the football. Just absolutely textbook. Washington not even touched, walking into the end zone. And we've talked about it. This is a football team coming into this game. They had rushed for nearly 600 yards combined the last 2 weeks. Already above 50 yards for this game. I tell you what, TCU, they're going to have to look into the playbook to find some answers for this Baylor run game.
Credit due certainly to the guys doing the work. Bryson Washington and Dawson Pendergrass atop that list, but Jake Spavital, first-year offensive coordinator, because last year this offense under Jeff Grimes, who got fired now at Kansas, 115 yards a game was second fewest yards per game in the Big 12.
And you need to give Jake a lot of credit. He was actually the offensive coordinator for Sonny Dykes back in 2016 at Cal. And talking to Sonny this week, he said he's one of the best coordinators at adapting to the personnel and the guys that he has on his roster. And you really see that the last couple weeks. This is a Baylor football team that started somewhat slow at the beginning of the season in September through midway through October, but they're playing their best football right now, no question.
Ball is coming out to the 25, and we're going to the studio with Kevin Connors. Tennessee, a winner of 36 of the last 39 games against Kentucky. And that matchup there in Knoxville. TCU looking for a response with both teams finding the end zone on each of their last drives. Flag is down. This may be bad news for TCU. Completion to J.P. Richardson.
I think this is going to be a holding on TCU. Good job scrambling by Josh Hoover.
Offense number 55, 10-yard penalty, good first down.
It's the right guard, Remington Strickland. You're going to see later in the play when Josh Hoover starts to move outside the pocket. There's the left arm and the hook. Easy call for the officials. And that's tough to overcome. Anytime you get into 1st and 20, it's really tough to overcome that deficit. The key for Josh Hoover here, don't press. Just try to get half back now. You'll get a little bit back on second and make it third manageable.
Savion Williams, a triumvirate of blockers in front. He gets through one, then 2 tackles and picks up 12 yards after the penalty. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, Savion Williams, guys, he is someone who has loved the way that his role has transitioned within this offense the last couple weeks. It was funny talking to offensive coordinator Kendall Briles, who said he feels like he's a little kid out there. He's so happy, a kid in the candy store, the way that they've elected to utilize him. And he's someone who you talked about had a little bit of a slow start at moments. He told me last season and early this year he felt he was a little bit too cautious playing it safe. He does not feel like he's playing it safe anymore.
Well, they give him some room to operate just like he did in high school at Marshall High School. Same alma mater as the Hall of Famer Y.A. Tittle, Lady Bird Johnson. It always helps as a boss, in this case Kendall Briles, to have buy-in from the guys you're working with. And they have really reinvigorated their offense with this new setup for Savion Williams. He got 7 yards there to make it 3rd and 1. Here as we come to the end of the first quarter. Love that there. You get Hoover looking like he's trying to diagnose things, and all of a sudden, quick snap, first down.
Yeah, that's great recognition by the quarterback. No defensive tackles playing in the A-gap. Take what the defense gives you.
No, Brock, we said high-scoring game, just like we predicted. Only 2 scores in the first 15.
Early takeaways you've seen here from your group.
Well, good job overcoming that penalty on first down there, getting that converted. Yeah, we just got to settle in. We're moving the ball offensively. Had a 3-and-out to start. You know, letting them drive the ball a little bit. We got to try to get a little pressure the quarterback some. But the guys are playing hard, and you know it's a back and forth game right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks.
Each team over 100 yards of total offense through the first quarter. And only 2 total incompletions, 1 for each team. Mike Cousins, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonantoni here at McLean Stadium in Waco. Cam Cook the carry.
You know, Mike, that might look like just a simple, basic first down run play, but there were so many components to that. Kendall Briles is putting a ton of pressure on David Aranda's defense. It's the shifts and the motions pre-snap. Savion Williams lines up at quarterback. Looks like he's going to go under center. Shifts out to wide receiver. It forces the defense to communicate and track the wide receiver.
Hoover feeling the heat, throws back across his body, which is not an easy throw to make, and hits Drake Dabney, the tight end, his first catch of the day for 5 yards.
Dabney, the former Baylor Bear, all-conference tight end last season here in Waco, actually set a school record for tight end receiving yards, a little over 550 a season ago, to make it 3rd and manageable with that last reception.
Dabney's still looking for his first touchdown as a Horned Frog. He'd love to do it here. This is chaos. Hoover on the move, and his throw to the sideline, out of bounds. J.P. Richardson with a great effort to try and get it, but the ball sails as Hoover was scrambling, and TCU faces 4th and 5. They'll punt.
Well, David Aranda's known to bring pressure. Watch Matt Jones blitz here, and then the center lets the nose tackle go. You got to take care of level 1 before you worry about level 2. You can't send a nose tackle free. That's what gets Josh Hoover off his spot. He does a good job of scrambling, keeping his eyes down the field. Just nowhere to go with the football, and credit the Baylor defense for forcing another punt.
First punt tonight from Craw was for 56. This takes a westward turn around the 25-yard line. But that's what they want with Josh Cameron on the other side, best punt returner in the country, and they keep it out of his hands. Now that Aggie Gamecock score a little surprising because A&M has won 9 of 10 against South Carolina since joining the SEC. To the air here, first down. Josh Cameron can't haul it in. A little bit too much there from Sawyer Robertson. Just his 2nd incomplete pass of the night.
Yeah, that's a difficult throw for Robertson. He's trying to navigate the safety, Cam Smith. Josh Cameron does a great job of winning at the line of scrimmage. Throw just a bit off target. That's a matchup to keep an eye on as this game moves along. Josh Cameron, one of the most dynamic playmakers in the Big 12.
Get it to the outside, and it's Gavin Yates. They list him as a fullback, and that's just his 2nd catch of the season.
Kind of a utility player, does a lot for this football team. Lines up at fullback, H-back, out at tight end. Kind of does the nitty-gritty stuff for the Baylor Bears.
Doesn't touch the ball often. He's a senior this year. His first 3 seasons, just 7 catches. So 2 this year.
Keep an eye at the bottom of your screen. Number 11, Devin Deal. He's been playing really good football the past couple weeks. Needs to affect the quarterback.
Baylor in need of at least 5. Tight window on that throw, and what a grab for Josh Cameron to haul it in, stay in, 7 on 3rd and 5.
It's an unbelievable catch by Cameron, working on the linebacker. I mentioned Devin Deal needs to rush. He drops out into coverage. That's a mismatch, Baylor's going to take advantage of that all day long. Wide receiver on a defensive end. Phenomenal catch by Cameron for the fresh set of downs.
What do they make those gloves out of these days? I really think more people need to have a feel for what receiver gloves are like, because they're not what they used to be. Those things are really sticky.
Have you thrown on a pair?
Once, yeah, but I mean, nobody wants me catching passes.
No, you're right. They definitely help out, but don't take any credit away from Cameron. That was an unbelievable play and a great throw, exactly where the football needed to be.
Offensive line holds up well. Flag is down. And the throw is incomplete. The vicinity of that flag may send Baylor in the wrong direction. We'll hear from David Alvarez, our referee.
Holding, offense number 53, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
It's the right tackle, Campbell Barrington. He's played really, really good football. In fact, maybe the most consistent player on that offensive line for Baylor this season. I personally didn't see a hold. You see why he's talking to the official. Maybe it's because he was laying on him at the end of the play. But early on in that down, I didn't see any holding there.
No, it looked like regular course of action on the right side. For a less than optimal second down 17. Long throw, leaping attempt, ball pops loose at the end. As Michael Trigg couldn't bring it in, right in front of Austin Jordan, the nickelback.
Well, you see Andy Avalos starting to dial up some pressure this series, trying to force Robertson into quicker throws. Johnny Hodges does a great job of beating the center Price. One-on-one block situation. It's a great job by the middle linebacker getting back to the quarterback and affecting the off-target throw.
And I thought Andy Avalos was a tremendous hire coming in, getting his shot at his alma mater at Boise State. I think he got a raw deal there, run out of town in less than 3 years, and a chance to reconfigure this TCU defense. They send Pendergrass out in the backfield, set up a screen for Hawkins. He can't haul it in on 3rd and forever. And Baylor will punt it away. Let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Busy day as Oregon takes care of business, and Georgia getting a scare against Florida in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I was going to say, we had some great games today. You just mentioned the Georgia-Florida. How about Penn State, Ohio State earlier in the day? Miami-Duke was close until midway through the 4th quarter. And then you see Texas A&M right now. They're trailing South Carolina on the road. A lot of great matchups.
And just outside that top 10, too, number 13, Indiana, stays perfect with a big win over Michigan State. No doubt the Buckeye fans are happy. Be a little bit difficult for James Franklin to get some shut-eye tonight. Great night here in Waco, Texas, the 120th meeting for the Bears and the Horned Frogs. Now for our drive recap presented by Rain-X. 2 drives ago for TCU. They found their way to the end zone, 95 yards.
Yeah, the first scoring drive of the night, and Josh Hoover just did a phenomenal job of distributing the football to his playmakers. Currently on the game, 7 for 9, 102 yards and a touchdown. And then he capped it off with a great play-action fake, got the linebackers and safeties to fight. Jordan Bailey with the phenomenal one-handed catch to reel it in for the touchdown. And we still stand 7-7.
Well, it was a great punt and a better drive for TCU, their longest march this season, here in game number 9 of the year. And these teams have looked identical so far tonight. They've each started with a punt, then they scored a touchdown, and then followed it up with a second punt. Pocket closing in, and a throw into double coverage goes incomplete. 2 throws Jack Besh's way, and neither of them have been catches.
That was a really good job by the secondary. You see Carl Williams, number 15, nowhere to go with the football for Josh Hoover. Baylor bringing pressure from the second level. TCU did a good job of picking it up and giving Hoover a bit of time to throw the football, just nowhere to go down the field.
Stopping the pass game has been difficult for Baylor the last 2 weeks. 306 and 359 allowed through the air. They keep the safeties deep, and Cam Cook tries to turn the corner No room to run with there, just 1 yard. So it's 3rd down and 9 coming up for Josh Hoover. He's got the 5th most passing yards in the country entering the weekend.
Yeah, and this is where TCU, they don't want to live here. They don't want to be in an obvious passing situation. You have to give the Baylor defense, though, a lot of credit for forcing this. TCU, unless Savion Williams is running the football from the backfield, they just can't get their run game going.
After some slight discombobulation, the Horned Frogs set on 3rd down and 9. Baylor sends pressure. Hoover deep down the middle of the field. It's bobbled and dropped by Savion Williams. All he had to do was take the open space, and he would have had 6. Instead, it's time for a 3rd Horned Frogs punt.
Oh, talk about a missed opportunity by Savion Williams. Got to give the offensive line credit. They picked up the pressure. They gave Josh Hoover time. Hoover made the perfect read. Yes, he pulled his receiver just slightly out. You want to bring those posts across the field, but you can see the reaction on Williams' face. He knows that's a play he can make and needs to make for his ball club.
Crawl with a returnable ball for Josh Cameron. Couple of jukes, gets to the 30, and finally brought down across the 35-yard line. Time for another update to the studio with Kevin Connors. Well, just like Brock Osweiler used to do it, somersault touchdowns. It's a lot safer up here in the booth. You leave as a winner every week.
Yeah, I don't think I had that in my game.
Well, after the punt, Baylor's got control of it again and picks up a chunk of 4 on 1st down.
Well, here's Savion Williams at the bottom of your screen. Keep an eye on him because he comes wide open. You're going to see the cornerback fall off. He starts seeing a route coming towards him at the sideline. He's not sure, should I stay with Williams? Should I fall off on that corner route? He got put into conflict, and that's what allowed Williams to be wide open.
Robertson, 7 of 11 through the air, a more than capable runner, takes some hard contact as he goes for a 1st down. Ball might have come loose there at the end of the run, but he's right on top of it, and they move the chains.
Near turnover by the Baylor Bears. You see a great punch out by the Horned Frogs. Textbook play by Devin Deal to force the fumble, but Robertson fortunate enough to get the football back and keep the drive alive.
The quarterback, not the starter to begin the year. That was DeQuan Finn, the 6th-year transfer from Toledo who got hurt. And Robertson has taken control of that job. Finn really not healthy still at this point. Their backup today is the true freshman Nate Bennett. But Robertson, 2 weeks ago, threw for 5 touchdowns against Texas Tech back in his hometown of Lubbock, has taken the reins of this job in his redshirt junior season, where he's had to be perseverant through his college career of never being named the opening game starter.
No doubt, and his confidence grows every single week. He's playing as good a football as anyone in the country right now.
He's got all sorts of time, throws deep in single coverage. And both quarterbacks mirroring one another, throwing a little bit too long. That time intended for Hal Presley, but there are 2 flags down on the turf. So there's a lot to clean up on the tail end of this play.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 13. 10-yard penalty and automatic. 1st down.
It's cornerback Jatravis Broughton, former all-conference player at Utah, transferred in to Fort Worth in this TCU football program. Really good football player, just got a little handsy on the last play.
For a defense this year, allowing 340 yards a game, which is on pace to be their best since 2019. Washington's patient, 1st down and then some. Inside the red zone, and he is into the end zone. 40 yards for Washington. Washington now at 99 yards, and we are not even to the midway point of the second quarter. That was a high snap there in the extra point try, but a flag precedes all of that. So the theme, the trend line continuing for the Baylor offense. Almost 350 on the ground last week against Oklahoma State. 2 weeks ago, 255 for Dave Aranda's offense rushing the ball against Texas Tech. And already tonight, 113 with 99 of those from Bryson Washington. Extra point try is no good.
Well, Mike, you just touched on it. This run game just picking up right where they left off the last 2 weeks. And I don't know how you stop it with execution like this. I want you to see these down blocks and then the pulls you get on the kick out. And then Washington just does the rest. This is just textbook clinic offensive line play. Everyone getting involved. Bryson Washington, not even a hand laid on him on the touchdown run. 13-7 Baylor.
8:41 second quarter, and it's Baylor with a 13-7 lead over TCU. Both teams winners of 2 straight. And in this series, it's been TCU's way as of late. The Horned Frogs have won 4 in a row, 8 of the last 9. Dave Aranda 0-4 against TCU. Would love to change that number. Next Saturday, an SEC on ABC college football extravaganza starts in Austin, Texas, taking on Florida noon Eastern. From Oxford, number 2 Georgia and Mississippi, and the nightcap bound to be crazy, Alabama and LSU. That game available for you on ABC. I'll also have the call on ESPN Radio as well, and took out a loan to buy my plane ticket to get to Baton Rouge. It is a hot ticket to get down there.
Listen, that's must-watch TV. The Georgia Ole Miss, that game is going to have a ton of playoff implications, as well as Bama LSU.
Savion Williams takes the direct snap, finds a chasm to run through on the left side, and he rips off 14 yards on first down. We had not seen him on that last drive getting involved in the action. They get back to it, they have success.
It's just a different deal in the run game when Williams is in the backfield. You see how big of a hole he has to run through. Just so dynamic with the football in his hands.
Team's leading rusher the last couple of weeks. And what a grab there, Jack Besh. His first catch of the day on 3 targets. 7th most receiving yards in the country. Shows you why with the sure hands.
Well, I was wondering when Jack Besh was going to get his opportunity to make a play. What an unbelievable catch, climbing the ladder, taking a big hit from Williams. You see the physicality he brings to the wide receiver position. Really tough to bring down, strong hands. What a play by Jack Besh.
Swing it, Savion Williams. 4 more yards. Stormy?
And guys, offensive coordinator Kendall Briles says no one on the team works harder than Jack Besh. Every day after practice, when the wide receivers stay after to catch jugs, Besh stays even longer to do double minimum the reps of anyone else. And whether it's jugs, weight room sprints, whatever it is, he is the guy that is always getting in one more.
No doubt about it, Stormy. He put that on full display, that last catch.
Soft coverage there. Savion Williams with another first down catch. And for Besh, he transitioned roles when he came to Fort Worth from LSU. He was a slot guy with NFL talent on the outside there for the Tigers, and now stepping into that outside role, it's a different responsibility.
It is, and it's different for a wide receiver playing inside versus out. But the thing about Jack Besh is he's so dynamic and malleable. He can play anywhere on the field. And for TCU, they want to get their best skill guys out on the field. Jack Besh, Eric McAllister, Savion Williams, J.P. Richardson. There's a laundry list of guys there in Fort Worth. And so Besh needed to move outside for the team, and he's done an excellent job playing out there this season.
Hoover flips it back. It's Richardson around the edge. Rogers in front. Quiet pickup, 3 yards with a lot of action there. J.P. Richardson, the transfer from Oklahoma State.
This is great pursuit by the Baylor defense, staying home, disciplined with their eyes in the secondary, forcing the play back inside for Richardson, keeping it just a minimal gain.
Williams cut down 3rd down, and that last play preceding that 3-yard run, you set up so much for Williams. Eventually, you go the other way to try and catch the defense sleeping.
Yeah, just so many playmakers for TCU, but what a great tackle by safety Devin Bobby. Coming up, trying to get Williams down in the open field. That is not an easy task. He is 6'5", 225 pounds. Not an easy guy to get down. Great tackle by Bobby to force the 3rd and medium.
Jeremy Payne in the backfield, hasn't had a carry tonight. Still doesn't. And some miscommunication there. The ball thrown behind Richardson, who does not have eyes in the back of his helmet.
Well, that was a really good defensive play call by Dave Aranda. He's going to send a pressure for Matt Jones here from the middle linebacker position, and that's what forces Josh Hoover to make a quick decision with this football, trying to set up the swing screen. That's why the throw's off target. Dave Aranda, he doesn't want TCU to get any closer on this field goal. He knows that the Horned Frogs, they've had some ups and downs when it comes to the kicking game. It was a great defensive play call.
The freshman Kyle Lumberman out of the powerhouse town of Southlake, Texas. Longest this year is 48, and this from 41. He gets a practice shot at it, but they might get backed up.
Prior to the snap, delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
It's just inexcusable. You know, we've talked about the talent that TCU has on their football team. And even though they're -11 when it comes to turnover margin, they still have a winning record, but just untimely penalties, untimely turnovers continue to hurt this TCU football team. And we talked about the ups and downs in the kicking game. You don't want to lose any field position when that's been the case.
From 41 now to 46 for Lemmerman. Plenty of leg on it, and the freshman's kick is good. Well, he got the rehearsal try from 41. That one split the uprights, and this is true as well to make it a 13-10 ball game. Almost time for the first college football playoff rankings release. Tuesday on ESPN, we have the College Football Playoff Top 25 show presented by Allstate. And as we get ready for the release, let's see what the Allstate Playoff Predictor has. These numbers certainly changing a little bit today with Iowa State and K-State both taking losses.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they're going to continue to change as we move through the month of November. BYU and Iowa State, at the end of the day, they do control their own destiny. BYU, Iowa State don't play each other this year. Iowa State, though, they have a big matchup with Kansas State November 30th. That can dictate a lot of things, and you got to remember, Kansas State holds the tiebreaker over CU, winning in Boulder a few weeks back. So still a lot that's going to happen in the Big 12 Conference as we move through this month of November. And there's still a lot of teams. If you have 2 losses in conference play, like the TCU Horned Frogs, you've yet to be eliminated from getting to the Big 12 title. So there's still a lot of football teams out there in this Big 12 Conference with a lot to play for.
For what it's worth, Iowa State's chances were 45% before the day started, and K-State was at 42%. So wild swings throughout the course of the day. And fans, don't forget to go to ESPN.com/Allstate Playoff Predictor to check out your team's chances to make the college football playoff. Both teams yardage-wise just about even. 183 total yards for Baylor and 180 for TCU. Sawyer Robertson, 7 of 11 70 yards. The big story, though, Bryson Washington, 12 carries, 99 yards. That's 8 yards a run. Just not that time. Stormy?
Guys, speaking of Sawyer Robinson, when we talked to head coach Dave Aranda earlier this week, he said, you know, he's not the most demonstrative, walk into a room and take over type of guy naturally, but he's really blossomed into more of that person because of the team's belief in him. Everyone believes in him, and I've seen him throughout the course of this half showing more of that leadership, taking the iPad and going up to each position group, sharing his thoughts and talking through things. It's been really impressive.
And he finds space here, overthrows Cameron on the outside. And there's a long-standing connection with the Robertson family and the Dykes family. Sawyer's dad, Stan, was a first-round pick of the Montreal Expos, played 4 years of minor league baseball, got injured, so he decides to go back to college and did play for Spike Dykes at Texas Tech, 94 and 95. And for what it's worth, baseball should still be in Montreal. Second-year transfer from Mississippi State, leading the charge for Baylor, trying to get them their 5th win of the season. Like a tap dancer back there, and he's nearly picked off on the outside. Dangerous low throw to the edge, and Lamarion James nearly had his 2nd pick of the year.
That was a really good job by Andy Avalos and his defense. Answering the bell, getting Baylor off the field. Give a lot of credit to that defensive front. Good twists and line games in there on that 3rd and 10 play. And then James there in coverage almost had himself an interception. You see the football just grazing the turf, forcing the punt situation.
Palmer Williams, the native North Carolinian, feels some pressure, gets it away, and J.P. Richardson signals for the fair catch and makes it at about the 32-yard line. Coming your way Tuesday, it's the exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings of the season. Reese and the guys will be in studio to break them down. Reaction from coaches and a live interview with the committee chairman, Ward Manuel. And they'll also project the 12-team field. That's 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app.
That show's going to be a lot of fun. I'll sure be tuning into that.
On an otherwise quiet Tuesday.
Yeah, it's perfect, right? You don't have Monday Night Football. There's no games on. Perfect show to get into. I was fortunate enough to go into Dallas back in early October and be a part of a mock selection committee and learn about this playoff and how it's going to play out and how the teams are going to be selected. It's going to be a lot of fun down the stretch.
Josh Hoover, 10 of 15, $135 and a touchdown. Story today has been him having time. He gets out of the pocket here and picks up about 3, maybe 4. I did that playoff mock selection exercise as well a couple of years ago. It's fascinating to understand how difficult it is when you're looking at teams. You're not just sitting there going 1, 2, 3, 4. You're putting them in smaller groups, and when you get down to the nitty-gritty, those decisions are harder than you think.
It's a very fascinating process, very thorough.
Matt Jones knocks down that pass attempt.
And it's eye-opening. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm sure you are as well. And it's really going to help us explain to the fans of the game why teams are selected over other teams, because you know there's going to be controversy at the end of the day one way or another.
What? Yeah, no matter the size of the field, someone's always got to be the first one out.
This is a big 3rd down here in the game. Baylor's done a really good job bringing pressure and affecting the quarterback, getting him off his spot. I expect Baylor to bring pressure here on 3rd and 7.
Here it comes. Hoover, soft coverage. Sherrick McAllister, the Boise State transfer. His first catch of the day, first down TCU as they get 12.
Well, you see the experience in Josh Hoover, just a sophomore, but making his 16th career start here tonight. He sees the all-out pressure by Baylor, but he doesn't panic. He sticks to his drop, gets the football out to his one-on-one matchup, and gets a fresh set of downs.
Well, they got the experience starting the last 6 games last year. Heat comes again. What a throw from the middle of the field to the outside as he hits Drake Dabney, the tight end. First down, Horned Frogs. They look to find the end zone here before the half.
You can tell Hoover's really starting to take command of this offense. He understands it. I just mentioned it, making his 16th career start. He knows where his outlets are now, so he feels the pressure, knows where he has to go with the football.
Switch it up, give it to Cam Payne for 4. Or rather, Jeremy Payne, beg your pardon. The true freshman from Missouri City, Texas.
You just said it, just a true freshman, but somebody the coaching staff has a lot of trust in. He's not the biggest running back on the field, 5'10", 180 pounds, but he plays a lot bigger. He doesn't hesitate. He sets up his blocks, hits the hole. He's done some good things for TCU in his freshman campaign.
A lot of recalibration. They get the snap off, 7 on the play clock. A swerving run from Payne for 2.
Hoover changed the play pre-snap, saw something in Baylor's defense, audible to a run play off tackle, picked up some positive yards to make this 3rd and medium.
That's a lot of jersey there.
Yeah, I think Colton Deary might have got away with a hold at the left guard position.
They're not in any particular rush. We got 2 minutes to go in the first half. TCU on the move. All 3 timeouts remaining as they look to retake the lead before the break. Seventh play of this drive for TCU. And a 3rd down and 4, looking to retake the lead before the half. Hand it off, pick up the 1st down with the freshman Jeremy Payne, undercut by the safety Devin Bobby.
A really good run by Payne. The interior offensive line, both guards and center, did a great job of securing level 1. By TCU running the football there, you know, it tells you that it was 4-down territory, right? But they don't need 4 downs to get the 1st down. And this is a huge deal because don't forget, Baylor gets the football to start the 3rd quarter. So if TCU can milk the clock, run it down a bit and get some points here late in the 2nd quarter, this is a big deal.
Here comes the blitz right up the middle. TCU picks it up, throw between 3 defenders is brought in by Jack Besh. 17 yards on a frozen rope to the senior.
Well, you said it. There's 3 defenders around Jack Besh. But let's just be honest. Josh Hoover, he can make throws that not every quarterback in the country can make. Showing off his arm strength on that last pass. Unbelievable throw and catch.
They're mindful of the time here, not to leave too much as they hope to find their way into the end zone. Roll out, throw, a missed tackle, an extra opportunity, and a stumbling trip to the end zone. Touchdown TCU. Jeremy Payne goes 17 yards to the end zone.
What an unbelievable individual effort by Jeremy Payne. How many tackles did he break there? Was that 3, 4?
So Lorando Johnson, the corner, is the player who's injured for Baylor. And I would imagine this might go upstairs just based on to see if he was in, was there a knee or an elbow down as he stretches to the goal line. And that knee may set this up 1st and goal at the half-yard line.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I think he's down the half-yard line. You can clearly see the knee down before the football crosses the goal line.
Carl Williams helped off the field by the Baylor athletic training staff. So Jeremy Payne, it looks like he's going to go down multiple times on this play. The extra effort as he gets toward the goal line. Not only do we have to watch if the knee is down, does the ball come loose too? He does recover it.
Yeah, knee down, football at the half-yard line. And you really have to just hope that Jeremy Payne's okay, because you saw him on the sideline just a moment ago talking with the trainers, you know, that's an awkward tackle on a knee there. But nevertheless, just an unbelievable individual effort. He's just the check down on the play. You know, that play should have been tackled for a 3-4 yard gain. Payne wouldn't be denied, and this is why the coaching staff loves him so much. They just said he's so difficult to get down on the ground. Not the biggest back in the world, but he runs hard, and he runs with the right mentality.
That tackle, the way his left knee twist, is reminiscent of the noon kickoff today in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Talon Green, the Arkansas quarterback, on what was an otherwise routine run, gets his knee twisted up, ended up putting a brace on later on, but a very uncomfortable and unintentionally acrobatic position to end up in. So as it stands now, 16-13 TCU. They got out in front with an early touchdown. It was 7-7 at the end of the first. TCU has scored 9 here in the second quarter, a missed extra point. And the replay booth would need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was touchdown TCU. Dave Aranda looking for his first win over TCU since taking over as head coach here at Baylor, now in his 5th season. And Sonny Dykes and the Horned Frogs, carrying over from the Gary Patterson era, have won 4 in a row, 8 of 9 in this series, on a day where 2 of the top 3 teams to start the day in the standings in the Big 12 took losses. Iowa State knocked from the ranks of the undefeated. Only 6 teams remain unbeaten in college football. And K-State taking a loss against Houston. It appears we've got a decision down on the field after a deliberative review.
After further review, the runner was down short of the goal line for a first down. It will be at the 1.5 yard line, 1st and goal. Clock operator, please set the game clock to 1:01, please. 1:01.
Well, we'll say it on behalf of the clock operator. You're welcome.
This is going to be interesting to see how TCU wants to play this sequence. I'd expect Savion Williams in the Wildcat position.
Another option, too, they've got a stable of running backs. Dominique Johnson, to transfer from Arkansas, 230 pounds out of the backfield, could be an option to sledgehammer the ball in. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., the NFL Countdown crew will get you set for Week 9. And then Monday night, 6 Eastern. It's a 2-hour program from Arrowhead on Monday Night Countdown, taking you into Monday Night Football. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They're the only unbeaten team remaining in the NFL. Game kicks 8 Eastern, ABC on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, with Peyton and Eli on ESPN2.
Speaking of the Big 12, couple former Big 12 quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield playing great football right now.
You mean SEC legend Baker Mayfield?
I'm still calling it the Big 12 when he's playing, but it's going to be a fun matchup Monday night.
If you looked early, the Sooners were tied 7-7 with Maine early today. It went as you'd expect. They blew out the Black Bears, but a little bit dicey there in the early going.
Here's Savion Williams at the bottom of your screen.
Now try to sneak it in. They're going to have to peel away the layers of this pile here. That pile of protoplasm at the goal line on 1st and goal. I don't know how you tell anything in that pile.
That was a really good surge by the Baylor defensive front. I like that timeout by Dave Aranda, just in case TCU does score a touchdown here on the next play.
Game clock to 52 seconds, please. 52 seconds.
He wants to give his offense plenty of time to try to go get points before half.
Thank you.
Now, worth noting there, what they did have on that play was Dominique Johnson, the 230-pound back we mentioned, as the fullback, with Cam Cook in the backfield, and Sonny Dykes appears to be displeased about something in that previous play.
Well, you just tried going up the middle with the attitude play, the quarterback sneak. And Baylor shut that down. Great surge by the defensive front. I expect TCU to either test the perimeter, whether that's with Savion Williams or one of their running backs, or go back to the play action pass that led to their first touchdown.
The attitude play, is that like Triple H and X-Pac?
No, it's who wants it more. Offensive line versus defensive line. Attitude play. And that time, I think the defensive line wanted it a bit more.
Now let's see how they set up here. Well, you're going to have Savion Williams split out wide. And Cam Cook, Dominique Johnson has the backs once again on 2nd and goal. TCU hoping it's an inevitability. They sneak it again. And it's a touchdown for the Horned Frogs.
It's a really good job of Josh Hoover not going right behind the center, but going behind his right guard, right tackle. You call it riding the wave. He did a great job getting out to the perimeter and finding a way to get that football across the goal line for a touchdown.
They move the ball efficiently over the course of 11 plays. Hoover's thrown for 189. Now runs for the touchdown. Lemmerman makes the lead 4 with 50 seconds to go. Well, Sonny Dykes, 23-12 at TCU. These two coaches have taken somewhat similar paths, although over different time frames. His first year, they have that phenomenal season, going 13-2. Last year, 5-7. And Dave Aranda's big year was 2021. They win the Sugar Bowl, and then last season go 3-9, 2-7 in the Big 12 for two guys who go back decades.
Yeah, you know, these are two programs and two coaches really trying to define their team's identity this season. You just hit it. 3 seasons ago, TCU played for a national title. Last year, they missed a bowl game. You talked about the 21 season here for Baylor. 12 wins, the best in school history. You win the conference title, but then since then you haven't been back to a bowl.
And BYU is idle this week after dismantling UCF last week. Iowa State with their first loss. Colorado also off this week. And we mentioned UCF not having a banner season, but boy, did they hand it to Arizona today. And they did it with Dylan Risk at quarterback, who we saw last week came in as the 4th string quarterback, put up more than 600 yards. Return out to the 21-yard line. Well, we mentioned that Dave Aranda and Sonny Dykes go back decades, all the way back to the year 2000 in Lubbock, Texas. Part of the staff from Mike Leach there at Texas Tech. On a staff to include the players and coaches, 6 head coaches came from that team.
Yeah, just an unbelievable staff that Mike Leach, the late Mike Leach, assembled there in Lubbock. Young Dave Aranda, defensive GA, Sonny Dykes, wide receiver coach. Well, those football teams sure did know how to score points.
Yeah, Dana Holgerson, Cliff Kingsbury playing quarterback. Ruffin McNeil was on that staff as well.
So that was a really, really good play to start this drive, because basically Dave Aranda's thinking, all right, I don't have any timeouts. There was 50 seconds left on the clock. If I can get a decent, positive play on the first play, we're going to try to go get points. That was a great start to the drive by Sawyer Robertson.
Well, if we learned anything last Sunday from Washington, it's that it doesn't take much time to score before the end of a half. Robertson out of the pressure. He runs first down and gets walloped at the 45-yard line. Run over by Nnamdi Obi-Izor, 10 yards.
Sawyer Robertson, a really big guy, tough to bring down. Nickel pressure off the edge, able to get out of the tackle.
Looking for the outside. That's exactly what they want there. Nice pickup for Trigg. Clock is paused.
We'll go back to the scramble. Keep an eye at the top of your screen. You're going to see nickel pressure. And Robertson able to get out of the play, find a positive chunk play. And Baylor, they're one decent pass play away from being in field goal range. Plenty of time to throw this football to the middle of the field, get up and clock it.
Trouble is, no timeouts. They protect well. Deep shot. A lot of contact there, and a flag at the end of the play. Tack on 15 for the Bears.
Well, this is just great recognition by the quarterback position. One-on-one outside. Throw it up to your 6'3" wide receiver and give him to make a play. Give him a chance to make a play on cornerback Channing Canada, who's really been in a rotation, hasn't been a day one starter for the Horned Frogs. Give your guy a chance to make a play. You get the 15-yard penalty, and now you're on the cusp of field goal range and finding a way to get points late here in the second quarter.
And you're looking at about, if they didn't move any further, 54 or 55 on a field goal try. Their longest this year is 51.
Whole field's available. You can still throw to the middle with 16 seconds.
Heavy blitz. Baylor picks it up. Robertson floats sideline, and it's too much.
Now 11 seconds on the clock. Now your play calls have really shrunk. You either got to throw something quick out to the perimeter where you can duck out of bounds, or you got to throw quick game like a quick slant to the inside. As soon as you catch the ball, you need to fall down so your quarterback can run up and spike it and save time for the field goal. TCU showing pressure, one-on-one matchups across the board.
They send 6. The throw is to the outside and dropped. The normally sure-handed Michael Trigg would have had them at about the 30 for maybe a 47-yard field goal try, and now just 8 seconds remaining.
Just a drop in a critical situation. Michael Trigg, really good player for the Baylor Bears. Big-time recruit coming out of high school, started his career at Ole Miss, USC, making his 3rd stop here in Baylor. Just a flat-out drop.
You think a similar type throw here?
I do. Right now, you have a cornerback playing off to the boundary. I'm taking a quick throw and getting some positive yards.
Well, it's almost the exact same look, but about 3 yards fewer. Trigg to the 33.
I'm not so sure. I think he was tackled in bounds. You're going to see Trigg's knee go down before he gets out of bounds. Keep an eye on his right knee.
Yeah.
That clock should be rolling. Officials called him out of bounds, which stopped the clock. That's a big-time error on the officials. Nevertheless, here's an opportunity.
And the replay booth does have the ability to correct egregious mistakes in timing. That would qualify because the half should be over. Well, we'll hear it officially from David Alvarez.
Previous play is under further review. Reviewing to see if the receiver was out of bounds or inbounds.
Well, the tight end Trigg was clearly in bounds. This is going to send the game to halftime. You got to give some credit to Sawyer Robertson. Did a great job. He recognized off coverage. I'd like to see that football come out a little bit sooner so that the defensive back doesn't have an opportunity to drive up and make a tackle in bounds. It was a really great play by safety Jamel Johnson to get Trigg down. And you're going to see these 4 seconds go off the clock, and this game's going to halftime.
So they can start to unbox the orange slices and send this to the half with TCU up 17-13, aiming for their 5th straight win in this series. Now, there's no sure thing. If Trigg makes the catch on the previous throw to the outside, you're looking at maybe a 47-yard field goal. But remember, it's been a shaky start to the day for Isaiah Hankins, their kicker, because he missed an extra point earlier.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. In a tight ball game like this, 4-point game, rivalry game, in-state rivals, you know, those little plays are going to start to add up. I'm glad you brought up the missed extra point. Then you had the drop by Trigg on the previous play that would have put them in field goal range. He clearly was going to get out of bounds. Those missed opportunities start to add up in tight ball games.
After further review, the receiver was down inbounds. By rule, that includes a 10-second runoff. That is the end of the first half.
Great explanation and great call.
(17-13), TCU in the lead. It's been a battle of backfields thus far, as we thought right from the jump. That's our score at the half. Let's get you to the studio with Kevin Connors. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Right on the banks of the Brazos here in Waco, Texas, inside McLean Stadium. A pretty evenly matched game in the first half. And it's TCU with a 17-13 lead. Horned Frogs got out to a 7-0 advantage. Baylor scored 13 straight. And then TCU answered with 10 in a row. Some missed opportunity down the stretch in the first half. And let's take a look at today's game track, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Well, nearly half of the total yardage for Baylor belongs to Bryson Washington, 99 total yards. The multi-purpose wide receiver running back Savion Williams, also impactful on offense for TCU. So TCU will kick it away. They won the toss, got the ball first, and scored to take the early lead. And we'll give it to Baylor here to start the second. 120th all-time meeting between these two. A fierce rivalry. No matter where they end up in the standings after this game, this one's good for bragging rights until next year.
Yeah, no question. This football game means a ton to both programs. And also, you got to think in-state recruiting. You know, whoever wins this football game is going to get the upper hand.
And it's going to come out to the 25-yard line to start things off here in the second half. Glad you're back here with us. Mike Cousins, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonantoni down on the field. Here's the stat sheet. Doesn't matter. We're all about even. So how do you think things are going to change here in the second half?
That's exactly right. It's been a very even ball game thus far. I think the biggest thing when you look at this second half, who makes the first mistake? Both teams played a very clean game offensively in the first half. No turnovers. So who can make the first big play defensively in this football game to give their team an extra possession and a short field?
And if you were to say one team was more likely to do it than the other, it would be TCU. That's been a thorn in their side this year. Negative 11 turnover differential on the season. Handed off Bryson Washington on first down. Puts him at 100 yards on the day.
Yeah, and you just touched on it. Great first half for Washington, picking up right where he left off last week against Oklahoma State. I can't wait to see what halftime adjustments did TCU make to try to slow this run game here in the second half.
And as Sonny Dykes said early, that's batted down at the line by Devin Deal. Get pressure on the quarterback. There's a good way to do it. Let's go down to the field. Stormy Bonantoni.
Yeah, I caught up with Baylor head coach Dave Aranda at the break, and naturally he was pretty disappointed with the missed opportunity to end the half getting points on the board. He said largely, though, as a team, he felt like they were disconnected. Their timing was off. They weren't playing the complementary football that they're capable of. But you know who was? Bryson Washington. And I asked Sonny Dykes simply, how do you slow down their run game? He said it starts by being physical at the point of attack, and they need to tackle better. He thought they got better as the half went on, but not nearly enough to earn this rivalry win.
Well, it seems like they've taken the task to heart here to start the third quarter.
Well, what a great start for TCU here in the second half. There's 7 defenders up in the line of scrimmage pre-snap for TCU. When you see that as an offensive line, as a quarterback, there is a ton of communication that has to take place. You see the confusion it causes for the offense for Baylor. And that's a great job by Devin Deal getting to the quarterback for the sack and forcing the punt and the 3 and out.
Penalty flag in before the punt.
Five-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
So Devin Deal gets the sack. We mentioned he played all but 1 snap last week. He's now got 4 of his 4.5 sacks in the last 2+ games on a tear in place of the injured Cooper McDonald.
No question. A man playing with his hair on fire, playing excellent football right now. Very smart football player, very experienced.
Palmer Williams just dented a cloud with that punt. Here comes J.P. Richardson, just shy of the 30-yard line. 62 yards. Special teams exactly that. As TCU takes over a field-flipping kick, 4-point lead. So Baylor goes quietly after an end of the first half. They had a missed extra point and an opportunity to get 3 at the end. Instead, Michael Trigg, the tight end, was tackled in bounds, and that brought us to the end of the half instead of maybe a 50-ish yard field goal.
Yeah, and on the flip side, TCU did a fantastic job in situational football, getting points late in the second quarter. And a big reason is Josh Hoover. A phenomenal night tonight, 14 of 20, a $187 and a touchdown. But the biggest thing for Hoover, he's yet to turn the football over. He's playing a clean game and being really efficient for the Horned Frogs tonight.
He gave it up 3 times last week. And here, doesn't touch it. Savion Williams sprinting edgeward. No gain.
Well, once again, Carl Williams on the tackle. Just such a good football player. Plays the nickel position for Baylor out there in that slot corner position. Great open field tackle on the big wide receiver, Savion Williams.
Wrapping his arms around the legs, disguised as California Redwoods. 2nd down and 10. As Williams comes out of the backfield. Sets up as a check down. Matt Jones came bursting through. Jack Bech makes the catch. Seeks open territory and goes out of bounds just shy of the 35. Some bravery from Hoover to take the hard hit. It's Bech for 36 yards.
Standing tall and strong in the pocket, being fearless, keeping his eyes down the field. Takes on the pressure, works left to right. Does a great job of beating the pressure by Matt Jones and finding Bech wide open down the middle of the field.
Swing it for Williams with blockers in front, ahead to the 30-yard line. That's a quick 6 for number 3.
TCU coming out of halftime, finding rhythm very early here in the third quarter. When Kendall Briles as a play caller can get into rhythm, he's one of the most dangerous play callers in all of America. You can tell he's really in a flow tonight. And Hoover doing a great job at distributing the football to his playmakers.
Right of the first down marker on the carry on 2nd down and 4. First down TCU.
TCU slowing down the tempo of the offense a little bit. Bringing wide receiver Eric McAllister onto the field. The Boise State transfer. Williams goes to the sideline. McAllister is someone who the last 2 weeks has just exploded. He's averaging just a little over 24 yards per reception, which is best in college football.
Yeah, 84-yard touchdown catch last week. There's one broken tackle, and then a trio of defenders crashed down to limit it to a 1-yard run for Trent Battle, who is getting back into it. Only played the last 2 weeks after he was injured the first 5 games.
Pads starting to pop. Lemire from the safety position coming up. Big hit. Rivalry game here in Texas. It's going to get intense in the second half.
Fake the give to Battle. Throw it to Bech. It's been a nice effort swarming by the second wave of defenders. There is a flag down opposite side of where Bech caught that ball at the 20-yard line for a 5-yard gain as it stands at the moment. For Bech, his 4th catch of the night.
Ineligible player, downfield, offense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
It's the left guard, Colton Deary. In college football, you have a 3-yard grace period. Let's see if he moves past that 3-yard spot on the RPO play. It's just so hard. Yeah, he's clearly past 3 yards. It's just so hard for offensive linemen when they don't know if the quarterback's going to hand it off to the running back or throw it. Just puts an offensive lineman in a really difficult spot.
The intent was good. He was looking for somebody to block, just a little too far. After a look to the sideline, that's scary for Cam Cook. Cutting it back to the middle of the field. Loss of 2.
Well, that was what Baylor was looking for. We just touched on it here at the beginning of the third quarter. Who's going to make the first mistake? Cam Cook got away with one there. Little loose with the football. Credit Baylor for getting it out. The running back very fortunate he was able to hop on the football and get it back for his offense.
Well, if they don't get anything more here, it's about a 50-yard field goal try.
Yeah, and this is where Josh Hoover has to show his maturation process. He needs to make a quick decision. He cannot afford to take a sack in this situation. Get the football out of your hands very quickly.
One of the best passers in the country. Third down, 16 outside the pocket and out of bounds around the 30-yard line. So he gets 3 yards. And Kyle Lemmerman coming out for a field goal attempt.
Well, that was a really good decision by the quarterback. He's been known to turn the football over a bit this season. He's smart there, nowhere to go with the football. Great coverage on Savion Williams. Left tackle Bless Harris beat early in the down, forces Hoover off his spot. Nowhere to go with the football, does the next best thing, get some positive yards.
47 on the try, but the wind is swirling right now here in Waco. And the freshman Lemmerman, whose longest is 48, is true on the try. Well, it was not a Louvre-worthy ending to the drive there, setting up the 4th down try, but they trust the freshman, and he converts from 47. I don't know where you put it, but if you win, you get a shield here on the Blue Bonnet Battle, 120th meeting. And since moving to the Big 12, TCU 5-1 here in Waco. Dave Aranda trying for his first win over TCU as Baylor's head coach as they get the ball back here after a 47-yard field goal by Kyle Lemmerman of TCU. And the last 3 drives, 2 of them have been punts. The other one was a drive that stalled out and took Baylor to the half. So they've got to revive things here to get back into this, down a touchdown.
Absolutely. Disappointing start to the third quarter for Baylor, going 3 and out, but you got to give a lot of credit to their defense. TCU was marching, ready to score a touchdown. Defense was able to hold them to 3 points. Now it's the offense's turn to find some first downs, string them together, and stay out there on the field and let their defense rest.
Robertson's got time to make it happen, and his throw outside the numbers. Incomplete. Hal Presley diving for it. Channing Canada right behind him.
Presley's saying catch. Officials are saying no catch. It was close. Presley working a double move, trying to sell the post and coming back out to the sideline. What a great effort diving for the football. I don't know.
I think when the nose of the ball hits the ground and the ball moves, I think that's when it becomes an incomplete pass.
Play is under further review. The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
And you're exactly right, Mike. If the nose of the football touches the turf and it moves, because you got to remember the receiver has to have complete and continuous control of the catch for it to be ruled a catch. We'll see. You know, from that angle, it just seems like the turf is giving it ever so slightly a little bit of help.
And the ball is allowed to touch the ground, but I think it gets knocked back into his body rather than him demonstrating firm control.
Yeah, so that's a good shot right there. As this football goes to the ground, you can see the nose making the initial contact, and then Presley is able to corral the football. I think that was a really good original call by the officials. I think this will stand as no catch.
And it is an expedient adjudication.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed of an incomplete pass, 2nd down.
Hal Presley probably thinking, I got turf burned for that.
It was a great effort by the wide receiver. Great throw, just a couple inches too wide. And Baylor's got to find something to kickstart this offense. I expect a heavy dose of run here on 2nd down to try to make this 3rd manageable and get back into the flow of the game.
Maybe it's Dawson Pendergrass who runs out of the backfield here after a huge week last week. It's a maze to find space for Robertson. His pass incomplete. 3rd down and 10, and TCU creating pressure. They creeped up there and collapsed the pocket.
Yeah, Jake Spavital trying to move the pocket for his quarterback, moving the launch point. But Nnamdi Obiizor, number 4, blitzes from the linebacker position, and you're going to see him. He corrals Robertson and keeps him inside the pocket. Robertson wants to move to his left. He's not able to do it. All of his receivers are out to the sideline, nowhere to go with the football.
They show pressure again, back off, and rush just 4. The throw is right to the sticks. They'll need a favorable spot, and they get it as Presley makes the catch. 3rd down and 10. He picks up 11 yards.
Well, that's great recognition by Sawyer Robertson going up to Presley. You're going to see how soft the defensive back is playing. Channing Canada in a backpedal. He started the snap basically playing at the 1st down marker, got into a backpedal. That's a great job by Robertson taking advantage of the soft coverage outside.
Pendergrass in the backfield, just 3 carries for 8 yards today. So they call his number again, and just like late last week, he breaks through the defense. Last week it was for a game-sealing touchdown. This time it's for 11 more.
Well, listen, he's not going to win any track races, but he does such a great job at setting up his blocks, being patient, and then hitting the hole when it presents itself. The vision that Pendergrass plays with is second to none.
Well, you go back to the end of last month, or I should say now 2 months ago in September against BYU, no carries. And since then, he has really turned it on. After 11 yards, he goes for about 6 more. Taking a look at the spot on that throw to Hal Presley to try and get to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I think he's there. Hard to tell, exactly with that angle, but to me, it looks like he's well across the 1st down and line to gain.
It's another run. Pendergrass fights for it. Channing Canada is everywhere right now, pushing him out of bounds.
Well, he's making plays, and he wants to get on the field. Channing Canada, somebody that was really competing for the starting cornerback position opposite of JaTravis Broughton in fall camp. Late in camp, he had an injury, set him back early in the year, wasn't able to play, but he's starting to get into that starting rotation and make some plays for the TCU Horned Frogs.
All over the place from Nunavut to Prince Edward Island for Channing Canada. 3rd down 5, Baylor down 7. On the comeback. Here they go, up the sideline. Monterey Baldwin with his first catch of the night, and he's inside the red zone. It was not promising when he caught the ball, but with great speed, he goes for 40 yards.
Are you kidding me? What an unbelievable play by Monterey Baldwin. I mean, there's 2 defenders there to make the tackle, and then he just hits the gas, breaks out of there, finds a huge play down the sideline. Boy, you want to talk about track speed. Baldwin sure has it.
He was the leading receiver the last 2 years for this team. He's moved a little bit further down the depth chart, but the speed still plays. Pendergrass 1st and goal. Head strong up the middle, and he's down to the 1.
I mean, he's just fun to watch carry the football, running through a tackle by Devin Deal, who we've mentioned tonight multiple times, playing so good, number 11 for TCU. Runs through the arm tackle. Then there's Jamel Johnson, runs through that arm tackle. He's just so tough to bring down.
And it is just sheer entropy down at the goal line. Substitutions left and right. They're trying to get the snap off, catch TCU in bad position, and a flag is down. It's like Survivor. The tribal council is deciding here.
False start. Offense. Number 68, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So in their effort to get a quick snap off, it comes back to bite.
Yeah, and that's just got to be so frustrating for Dave Aranda, because you just said you're trying to take the defense by surprise. You're trying to put them on their heels. You're down there. You're knocking on the door to tie up the ball game, but you got to stay disciplined. You got to use your fundamentals. You can't go backwards when you're on the 1-yard line.
Fullback Yates comes in along the line as a wingback as they spread it out, 4 receivers. And the play is blown dead on a Tebow-esque attempt to find Yates in the end zone. And the crowd is displeased, to say the least. Well, early indication seems this might be against Baylor.
The previous play, there is no foul for illegal substitution on the defense because the offense false started. That's what we were looking at. Second down, that play did not count.
Well, now they have even more reason to be mad. They should have had a touchdown. An officiating error wipes off 6. They blew the play dead, thinking there was an illegal substitution by TCU. Baylor scores, and Dave Aranda has to get what will surely be an unsatisfactory explanation and a mea culpa.
Yeah, he's not happy with that one. You saw that conversation taking place just a minute ago. That was going to be a clear-cut touchdown for Baylor.
Oh, come on. What is going on?
The previous play is under further review.
And Jake Spavital is giving it to David Alvarez, the referee.
I mean, at some point, you got to make up your mind and live with a call and just play some football. I completely understand the frustration coming from Jake Spavital on the Baylor sideline. Just got to be so frustrating for Dave Aranda, because you just said so you see the TCU defenders going off the field, a couple of them coming onto the field. You see Baylor substituting as well. Trigg, number 1, jogging off. I wish I had a better answer for you as to why the play was blown dead. I don't even know if the officials clearly know.
I think it's an officiating mistake. So preceding that, there was a false start called on Baylor. They had the ball at the 1, and then the officials blew that play dead, thinking mistakenly that it was an illegal substitution because Baylor had not substituted it, so therefore...
No, but Baylor did substitute. And so that's the thing. You see Trigg come off of the field. TCU is allowed to send people on the field as
Correct.
well.
Yes.
The officials just have this situation a little bit out of control. Got to get their hands on it, take a deep breath. But there's no substitution error there. Baylor sends people off the field, so does TCU. Players come on, play ball.
And it was a touchdown. Because if the offense substitutes, the defense can legally substitute.
After further review, the defense did have 12 on defense during the false start. Those penalties will offset. It will be second down.
So then the ball should be at the 1 here. And it is.
Well, yeah, and the play shouldn't have been blown dead.
Correct.
If there's 12 defenders on the field, you can snap the football and play offense and then decide if you want to take the penalty or not.
Oregon taught us about that.
Oh, boy, what a sequence. Let's play some football.
Now, it may be all as well that ends well. And it's Pendergrass who says, close the door on that drive. He punches it in for 6.
Well, if you need 6 from the goal line, Give it to the downhill bulldozer, Dawson Pendergrass, 6'2", 220 pounds. Really carried the load that entire drive.
Hey, surprise. Their penalty flags, 2 of them.
Prior to the snap, the kicker, number 98, moved forward, false start, offense. Number 98, 5-yard penalty. Retry.
It's been a tough day for Isaiah Hankins, but you can forgive him. He and his wife, Sadie, just welcomed their first child last Friday before their game against Oklahoma State. Their son, Campbell, coming into the world. Dave Aranda, his best advice, I've got one word for you, and it's not plastics.
It's so good.
It's caffeine.
It's so good. It's the truth. All you parents out there, you know it.
Well, he's missed an extra point today. And this one, good. And we're tied. 5:09 to go here in the third. Touchdown run, Dawson Pendergrass singing the sweet song, saying turn off the lights as he slams into the end zone. You remember the math problems where you had to show your work? Here's what we're doing on what should have been offsetting penalties on a ball at the 1 for Baylor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Baylor had the false start penalty, but TCU had 12 men on the field. So rather than Baylor going backwards, they just should have been offsetting penalties, replay the down. We now have clarity on the situation. Touchdown Baylor. Let's move forward and play some football.
An exceedingly circuitous route. What originally was a play blown dead by what the officials thought was a substitution infraction by TCU. It was a touchdown catch for Baylor's fullback, Gavin Yates. It got wiped off the board. He's probably mad. He only has 1 career touchdown. So eventually they got there. It was just a little bit difficult. It goes to replay review. The officials did eventually get it right, and that is what matters. But it certainly brought some frustration, some steaming ears from the Baylor sideline.
And now we're back to playing football. And for TCU, you have to remember, this is just their second possession of the second half. The way Baylor's running the football, the way TCU's been running the football with Savion Williams, this game's going to play out really quickly. So you got to be efficient with the downs that you do have. Protect the football and find points.
Williams, the former high school quarterback, lined up to take the snap. And he's got a big opening across the 30, approaching midfield, and goes head over heels. He goes for 22 yards on just his 6th carry of the night, now up to 49 yards.
Such a great block by left tackle Bless Harris. Keep an eye right here. Watch him seal off the edge for Savion Williams. The Florida State transfer, big body. Huge play for TCU early in the series.
Great pursuit and an even better tackle. Jackie Marshall with the wrap up in the backfield, eliminating any further advance from the freshman Jeremy Payne.
You need to see Jackie Marshall on this swim move. Unbelievable job by the former linebacker. He's now 290 pounds, but you see how elusive he is coming from that position right there. Great job with his hands getting off the block.
Jackie addressing the ball in the backfield. Hello, ball. Josh Hoover walloped. It's 2 straight negative plays. Cooper lands bursting through for the sack on Hoover. 8 yards in the negative. Late flag on the play in the area of the tackle. Penalties have racked up 5 for both teams here past the midway point of the third.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, unnecessary roughness, defense number 0, 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Wow, what a huge blow. You're looking at a
That is
3rd
Zero's
and 19.
first unsportsmanlike of the game.
Now to a 1st and 10 for TCU. I want to go back to the pressure. Keep an eye. Matt Jones is going to come right up the middle. TCU's just in a 5-man pressure. Brockermeyer lets the nose tackle go once again. You need to secure level one. This is something that happened earlier in the game. Allow the quarterback to beat the blitzing linebacker with the throw. You can't let the nose tackle run free.
Ball across midfield for Baylor, or rather for TCU, as they look to retake the lead.
What an unbelievable break. 3rd and 19 to 1st and 10.
On 1st down, give it up. Jeremy Payne, flag thrown from the umpire. Generally, that does not bode well for the offensive line.
It's going to be defensive holding.
Yeah, they're pointing the other way. With Josh Hoover, the TCU quarterback, at the forefront.
Holding defense number 97. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
It's the nose tackle. Cooper lands right in the middle of the defense. I don't agree with that call at all. There's a slight tug, but as we all know, you could call holding every single play between the offense and defensive line. That's definitely not defensive holding in my book.
Hoover complete to McAllister. Spins out of a tackle and high steps his way across the 15-yard line. Well, if Dave Aranda could be going gray, he'd be doing it on this drive, as the defense is not getting the job done. 17 yards on the catch.
Yeah, it's a big-time pickup by McAllister. Just so tough to bring down. Big body wide receiver, 6'3", 205 pounds. You mentioned it earlier in the telecast, averaging over 24 yards per reception, which is best in the country. He knows all too well how to make a big-time play.
Hoover against a 3-man rush, checks it down. The running back, Jeremy Payne, lost his footing and kept his balance. Impressive maneuvering.
Mike, I want to go back to the personal foul that extended this drive for TCU. Number 0, Jackie Marshall, gets hit with the personal foul. TCU was set to face a 3rd and 19. Instead, they get a 1st and 10. You can see Marshall standing up, looking down at the offensive player. You have to assume some words were exchanged. There was some taunting that took place. That's just an undisciplined play. You can't. It's almost as bad as a turnover. We talked about it at the beginning of the 3rd.
They go up the middle, attempting some misdirection. Doesn't yield much. But yeah, the taunting rather antithetical to the winning cause there. And I think in college football this year, the officials have really had their eyes on plays like that.
They have, and it's just a dead giveaway for the official. When you stand over your opponent and look down at them, it's a dead giveaway. But if the Baylor Bears can hold TCU here to a field goal, you want to talk about a big-time swing. I expect Baylor to bring some pressure here to force Josh Hoover into making a quick decision with the football. Although Savion Williams is lined up at quarterback as we speak.
So he takes it and runs it. Stopped at the 6. So he is shy of the marker. 4th down, about a yard to go. What do you think?
This is a great battle up front between the offensive line, defensive line. It's getting really physical down there. I expect TCU to go for it. Sonny Dykes, known to be an aggressive coach, offensive-minded guy. He knows in a rivalry game like this, you can't keep kicking field goals and expect to win. You have the momentum behind your offense. I think this is a great decision by Sonny Dykes to put the trust in his offense to pick up the 1st down.
Here we go, 4th and 2. It's Williams by himself. His first pass of the day into the end zone. Touchdown! Jack Besh makes the catch, and Brock Osweiler predicted it.
You knew it was going to come. Savion Williams, former high school quarterback. He has a great arm. It's been talked about plenty of times. Does a great job selling the run, getting the Bears to bite up. Jack Besh able to get behind the coverage. What a great play call by Kendall Briles. Sonny Dykes putting the trust in his team on 4th down to go for it. What a swing by the TCU Horned Frogs.
Man, that is the type of play where, as a play caller, you are either a genius or, as the peg game tells you at Cracker Barrel, an ignoramus if it does not go your way. Extra point, good, and the lead is 7 for the Horned Frogs. 2 passes thrown this year for Savion Williams. This for a touchdown on 4th down.
Well, Savion Williams playing quarterback in this Wildcat package has completely changed the direction of this TCU offense. 27-20 Horned Frogs.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico. Yeah, it's all smiles for Jack Bech with a touchdown catch on a 4th down from 6 yards out from Savion Williams. The wide receiver turned running back, turned quarterback. And Kendall Briles making the right call at the right time. Let's go down to the field, check in with Stormy Bonantoni.
All smiles for TCU, but it was a very different vibe over here on this Baylor sideline as head coach Dave Aranda gathered up his entire defense, and he was laying into him after that touchdown. He said, this is a back and forth game. I need the best out of everyone. And you think about the penalties that they had, the personal foul, the holding. He was screaming at him. He said, I need you to make good decisions. It's on each and every one of you. He did say, I know you can do it, but the energy was a little bit frustrated, as you can imagine, guys.
Stormy, knowing Dave Aranda as well as you do, he's a very stoic guy, very even-keeled. How would you rate his regular level of energy compared to what you just saw?
What's more than 10? Like his regular energy, we're talking 0 compared to off the charts what I just saw. Very different from our meetings earlier this week, gentlemen.
Well, listen, I get it, and I understand why Dave Aranda feels that way. You're getting ready to get off the field. Instead, you let your emotions get the best of you. You give TCU a 1st down, which leads to 7 points.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Well, we got 15 minutes to play and a lot to happen. TCU up a touchdown at the end of 3. There's the Taco Bell Live My Student section. All season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live My Student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. We start the 4th quarter here in Waco, Texas. Baylor and TCU separated by 1 score. Up here in the booth, Mike Cousins and Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonantoni down on the field. And things are getting heated here as we go into the 4th quarter.
That was a huge pickup for Baylor there on 3rd down. Quarterback design run. You got to remember, TCU offensively, they've had 2 possessions in the 2nd half. Both have led to points. Baylor needed to stay on the field. That was a great pickup by Robertson.
He's thrown for 147 yards today. Picks up some more there with Josh Cameron. 1st down as he drags the defense with him to the 35.
Well, just once again, excellent protection by the front 5. This offensive line for Baylor playing so well tonight. And then Robertson able to find Josh Cameron in the zone coverage, working through his reads.
27-yard hookup to his leading receiver on the year. Up the middle, there goes Washington. A one-man display of physical efficacy for a 35-yard touchdown run. That'll work for a response.
All tied up in Waco. Great answer by this Bears offense. Colton Price, the center, I want you to keep an eye on his block. Does a phenomenal job securing level 1, gets up to level 2, gets his hands on the linebacker, Obiizer. Bryson Washington goes untouched once again tonight to tie up the ball game at 27. And this rivalry game, I don't know what you're thinking, Mike, but I think we're brewing for a great fourth quarter.
This has been really fun thus far. Both teams over 340 total yards. Baylor for a third straight game threatening to go over 200 with 185 on the ground after almost 350 last week against Oklahoma State and 255 2 weeks prior against Texas Tech. I think this is just a continuation of what has been a wild day in the league, with 2 of the top 3 teams in the standings to start the day losing. Kansas State, a top 25 outfit, felled by Houston, and Iowa State taking a loss as well against Texas Tech. Coming your way Tuesday, the exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys break them down. They'll have coaches' reactions and a live interview with Michigan's athletic director, the committee chairman, Ward Manuel, and also a projection of the 12-team field as it plays out per those rankings. That's Tuesday, 7 Eastern, ESPN and the ESPN app.
This is a big moment for Josh Hoover. He's played a really clean ball game, making great decisions with the football. Once again, Savion Williams in the backfield, but this crowd's starting to get into it.
Fake the give to Williams, shovel forward for Payne, 1 yard. And they've found different ways as the game has gone on to utilize Savion Williams. Direct snap, handoff, or this time decoy.
Yeah, and it causes so much communication on a defense's behalf. When you have Savion Williams lining up at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, a lot of communication has to take place. There's even checks that are involved with that, depending on where he lines up on the field. A lot of moving parts, puts a lot of stress on the defense, but Baylor doing a great job on first down.
A blitz with Matt Jones, the linebacker, over the middle. That opens space for Jordan Bailey with his second catch of the day. It's a first down, but there is a flag down. And that's from the far side.
Jordan Bailey, relatively quiet season to this point, does a great job from the slot on the slant route.
Line up in the neutral zone, not penalties declined. Result to play.
Working on the nickelback, Carl Williams, who's played a heck of a ball game tonight. Jordan Bailey, the younger brother of former TCU running back Amani Bailey, who's now in the National Football League. Great game tonight. Touchdown in the first half, coming back. The great slant route there, starting to get him involved in the offense as well.
And if you missed his touchdown, just watch SportsCenter tonight, tomorrow morning. We're booking it as a top 10 play.
One of the best catches of the year, no doubt.
Once again, a loaded backfield. Williams takes a roundabout way to the edge. Late flag is down. This will be the 12th penalty of the game.
Holding. Offense, number 62, 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And 5 of them against TCU.
It's the right guard, Carson Bruno. He's been rotating tonight with Remington Strickland, that right guard position. Anytime you're tackling a defender and you're looking at the name on the back of his jersey, not a good sign for an offensive lineman. Tough position in 1st and 20, but I'll say this. Earlier in the football game tonight, Kendall Briles did an excellent job calling plays, getting TCU out of the 1st and 20, picking up a first down, and eventually scoring points on that drive. TCU facing the same situation here.
So they've got to get to the 46-yard line for a first down. And they might just do it right here as they go outside to Eric McAllister, who weaves his way to the marker and does pick up the first down.
It's a great play call by Briles. Just high-low in the cornerback. You're going to see Eric McAllister run a deep out route here. There's some flat control for the cornerback to keep him up by the line of scrimmage. Great route, great timing on the throw. And that's how you overcome 1st and 20. That's impressive.
Helps to have the nation's 5th leading passer Josh Hoover taking the snaps. Fake the run and throw it over everybody. Intended for McAllister.
It's a good job by Keaton Thomas coming in, laying a big hit on Josh Hoover, affecting the quarterback's accuracy. Really good by Thomas to avoid the offensive line. I don't know about the big hit versus a flop, but nevertheless, he created pressure on the quarterback to force the errant throw in the 2nd and 10.
So Hoover's the nation's 5th leading passer. Chandler Morris at North Texas, erstwhile quarterback at TCU, is the nation's 1st leading passer coming into this weekend. Sonny Dykes can run an offense. That's got to be a late flag.
It's getting chippy down there, Mike. It's getting really physical. A lot of contact after the whistle. You can tell both these ball clubs what this game means to them.
And Sonny Dykes is going, you can't just push the quarterback at the end of the play. Yeah, 15 yards could go a long way at this point in the game. Got to be careful. Hoover, 3rd down with a check down throw, and it's Payne short. Oh, this is middle of the field, 4th and short.
I'm punting the football here. No question. I'm playing the field position game. You have an entire quarter to play. You can hear the momentum in this stadium right now. Fans are on their feet, getting loud. Last thing you want to do is turn over the ball on downs at midfield and give Baylor's offense a short field.
So Ethan Craw to punt. Josh Cameron inside the 10. Baylor has a chance to take the lead when we come back here to Waco. This season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. 10:22, 4th quarter. Baylor comes up with a stop, forces TCU to punt. Only a 27-yard punt, though, so it's 1st down and 10 from their own 19-yard line. Bryson Washington running for a touchdown earlier in this 2nd half. Tackled by Johnny Hodges, gains 6 on 1st down.
TCU just not able to find any answers to slow down this Baylor run game. Baylor approaching 200 rushing yards on the night. This offensive line for the Bears has just done such a great job of winning the line of scrimmage.
What are they doing that's making the run game so effective?
It's just clinic tape. They're just fundamentally sound. Their hands are inside. They're moving their feet. I think they do a great job with their helmet placement and playing the leverage right. This is just a unit that's in sync. Their chemistry's right. And they're playing at a very high level.
Soft coverage on the outside, but the interior takes care of the job. Just 1 yard for Bryson Washington.
You know, and let's not forget, when you talk about this Baylor offensive line, they've been kind of a mixed bag group for a lot of the year. I think there's been 4 to 5 different combinations of starters. This group has now played together a couple weeks. You just saw Jake Spavital, and he found his 5 best guys, and they're really gelling.
Pressure up the middle, they pick it up. Out of the pocket, Robertson with the throw, and a beautiful grab right near midfield. It's Hal Presley for 13 yards.
Well, this Hal Presley Channing Canada matchup outside has been great all night. Presley does an unbelievable job going up, catching the football, getting a foot down in bounds, showing body control, maintaining possession of the ball all the way through the catch. Great play.
Outside screen, Ashton Hawkins. Back-to-back first downs through the air.
Well, you get phenomenal blocking outside for Hawkins, and it's also the splits of the wide receivers. They're so wide, so when Hawkins gets this football, there's no defenders around. He gets great blocking out there on the perimeter by his teammates. This is an offense that's really starting to get into the flow of the game.
Play action, one-on-one coverage. Incomplete, looking for Cameron. And Javon McIver, the junior, transferred from Austin P with smothering coverage.
Yeah, this is great coverage by McIver. Nowhere to go with the football. Plays the back shoulder. It's really good defensive play right there. A little grabbing both ways. I like that they let it go. This is a physical game. Just talking about the flow of this offense, and you've seen it from Jake Spavital, offensive coordinator for Baylor, and on the other side with Kendall Briles. When these teams are able to pick up first downs on a continual basis, these play callers are really getting into rhythm.
Hodges breaks through. Robertson fakes the throw and lunges ahead for a couple. It's Hodges, their leading tackler, taking a good angle there.
Hodges has just done a great job all night blitzing from his middle linebacker position. Here he is one-on-one with a running back and just completely beats Bryson Washington. And his pursuit of the quarterback tonight has just been superb.
Hodges out for this 3rd down and 8. They run it. They do not get the first down. The last drive we saw TCU around midfield punted away. Here Baylor with 4th down much deeper into TCU territory.
Yeah, there's going to be no hesitation by Dave Aranda here. By him deciding to run the football on 3rd and 8, that told you right there that this was 4-down territory. This doesn't surprise me at all here. And now the fact that it's 4th and 3, you can run for the first down or throw for it. You have your full playbook at your disposal.
TCU sees the setup, and they call their first time out of the half.
Timeout. TCU.
6:56 to go. Check your pulse.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico. Get more with Geico.
Tie game. Rivalry matchup. 6:56 to go. Baylor, TCU. 4th down and 3 for Baylor.
If I'm Dave Aranda, I'm kicking a field goal here. It's been a tight ball game. It's gone back and forth all night. We're getting somewhat late in the 4th quarter. I think you need to take points when they present themselves. You have the wind at your back. Your kicker, up until this game, he's been pretty solid for you all year long. You can see Dave Aranda electing to go for it here on 4th down. I would try for the 3 points.
Maybe a screen to the top. He's got Washington in the backfield. Not anymore. Quarterback keeper. And they get the first down. A bold call.
And that's why Dave Aranda's on the field, and I'm up here. That's a gutsy 4th down decision by the head coach. Great pickup by the quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, lowering his pads. Big body. When he gets going downhill, he's a load. Lowers his shoulder and picks up a first down.
Robertson first down throw. It's the tight end, Trigg, 11 yards, and another first down. And you revisit some 4th down calls in this game. Earlier we saw a 4th and goal, and Savion Williams, the running back, throwing a touchdown. Here, quarterback keeper to keep the drive alive, which could have Baylor in the lead. From the 14. Washington up the middle. And he is to the 6.
Keep an eye on the right tackle, Barrington, 53. He's going to loop into the middle of the screen and lead up for Washington. Once again, this offensive line just doing such a good job getting a hat on a hat. And Washington all night just not getting touched until he gets to the 2nd or 3rd level. This run game is just so impressive for the Baylor Bears.
221 yards on the ground. Robertson going for the pylon. He dives short. Devin Deal closing the angle and denying a score for now.
How about that effort by the 6'4", 220-pound quarterback? Had the option to hand it off to his running back or keep it himself. The defense for TCU crashed inside. Great read by the quarterback, putting his body on the line for his football team here late in the fourth quarter.
Robertson with Washington. Off the high snap. He plunges for Pater. And Baylor has the lead with less than 5 minutes to go.
The decision to go for it on 4th down by Dave Aranda pays off. Gutsy decision, great execution by his offense. And Bryson Washington with his 4th touchdown on the night. None bigger than that last one to give his team 34-27 lead here in the 4th. Nothing fancy, just some downhill running by Washington. 7-point lead late in the 4th.
Baylor takes the lead here late, a 1-yard touchdown run for Bryson Washington, and they are giving TCU a big middle rushing attack right up the middle, and that's where they've done the majority of their damage.
They really are. I mean, as a team, they've rushed for 227 yards tonight, and you see it on the graphic, 193 in between the tackles. All 4 touchdowns came in that same spot tonight. Just absolute clinic tape being put on out there by the Baylor Bears offensive line and Bryson Washington. Well, you just saw the numbers. And here's the pictures. Bryson Washington can do no wrong tonight. Got to give him a ton of credit for making plays, second, third level, getting into the end zone 4 times. But it's the 5 big fellas up front, that offensive line. They've just been excellent from the first snap of the game, getting a hat on a hat, winning the line of scrimmage, physically dominating the opponent in the run game. And it's been a lot of fun to watch. And
in the era of NIL, somebody's got to get those guys some watches or a steak dinner or something. So pressure turns here to TCU, and they go back to Savion Williams. You know, an interesting capper on that rushing note as well is the last 2 games where Baylor ran for almost 600 yards. I shouldn't say the majority, the plurality of their runs were outside the tackles rather than up the middle. But this just goes to show you every game is unique.
No question. They're doing it in a lot of ways. It's been a lot of different running backs this year. It's been Pendergrass, Washington, the quarterback Robertson as well.
And probably expect to see a heavy dose of number 3 on this drive. He's the best player on the field.
Yeah, you want him to play quarterback for you this drive, running back, get him out at wide receiver. Savion Williams has the hot hand. When he has the football in his hand for TCU, this offense just operates at a different clip. You're going to see a big dose, a big number 3 here on this series.
You wonder, going back to TCU's last drive, they had a 4th and 2 at their own 46. They punted it away, gave Baylor the ball at its own 19-yard line. Can't go back and change it now, but they're playing from behind, so they've got to come back and tie it here. Under 4 minutes to go. Off balance throw and incomplete.
Some sort of protection bust up front for TCU. You're going to see someone come running scot-free in the middle of the screen. Not sure what the miscommunication was. It's 52, Brockermeyer trying to come across on the side block and just completely whiffs. Got to be at your best in these critical moments.
Second down and 10 for Hoover. Quick throw and it's dropped. Well, there was confusion from the jump. Trent Battle didn't know where to go, but there's a flag, 2 of them in fact, on a hit on Hoover.
I think this is going to go against Baylor for roughing the
Personal
passer.
foul. Roughing the passer, 0 on the defense, 15-yard penalty and automatic first down.
You know, there was a time where that wouldn't have been roughing the passer, but in today's game, you hit a quarterback just a tick late, and it's up high around his head or neck area with forcible contact. It's going to be an easy call for the officials. And that's the second personal foul that's really hurt this Baylor's defense here in the second half. Jackie Marshall, TCU is set to have a 3rd and 19. They got a 1st and 10, got a touchdown of the drive. TCU is getting ready to face another 3rd down.
So 1st down, Battle dropped the ball on that last play, carries it for 1 yard.
You know, we talked about it coming out of halftime, Mike. Who was going to make the big mistake first on offense? You know, both teams had played a clean game. There was no turnovers, and we've yet to see that turnover. But these personal fouls, they're starting to feel like turnovers because you're getting ready to get off the field, and you allow a very high potent offense to stay out there and get a fresh set of downs.
This has been an up-tempo game, prestissimo on the field, but they have slowed it down here because they understand you get a score here, you don't give a lot of time, maybe go to overtime. That's a hard hit there on the run from Hoover. 7 yards on the pickup. Devin Bobby lays the lumber.
Hoover did a really good job of getting some positive yards, but keep your eye on 88. He's wide open. Eric McAllister right down the middle of the field. You can see him calling for the football. It's one Josh Hoover's going to want back tomorrow, but the quarterback still did a great job of stepping up through the pocket, getting some positive yards to keep this 3rd and manageable at 3rd and 3.
And with 3 to get, don't rule out a quarterback run here. Instead, it's a quick throw, incomplete for McAllister. If that is caught, he is alone. Instead, 4th down, 3 to get.
The thing I love most about that throw is the location of it. Hoover sees that the cornerback Williams is driving to the inside. He tries putting it on McAllister's back shoulder, exactly where that football needed to be. That's one that McAllister needs to bring in. And here you go, 4th and 3, 2:05 to go in the ball game. This is a gotta-have-it moment for the Horned Frogs.
Hoover moves Besh. And he goes on 4th and 3 to number 3. Savion Williams, drive alive, comeback attempt alive, 17 yards, and the 2-minute timeout.
Well, who else was going to get it in the critical situation? Savion Williams does a great job selling the outside fade, crossing the defensive back's face on the slant to keep the drive alive.
Well, it sure is a good thing we get an extra hour of sleep tonight with action into the evening. Next Saturday, it's Florida visiting Texas on ABC, Georgia at Ole Miss at 3:30, and then Alabama at LSU. The SEC officially no more unbeaten teams in league play as Texas A&M's 7-game winning streak came to an end against South Carolina. The Gamecocks matched their win total from a year ago. We're coming right down to the wire. 2 minutes to go. It's TCU on the move, down 7 against Baylor.
Savion Williams not on the field right now.
By far their most dynamic player. Hoover down the middle, the strike to Besh, and they're an extra point away from tying this thing up. And they made that look very easy.
Wow. Wow. Well, when you have Jack Besh, you don't need Savion Williams on the field, I guess. That's an unbelievable play call. Great execution. Just a perfect timing of that call against the coverage that Baylor was playing. Jack Besh wide open, going right down the seam. Great answer by the TCU Horned Frogs.
The biggest snap of the game, and the extra point is good. 34 all, 155. There's nothing bad about scoring a touchdown, but they did leave a good amount of time on the clock for Baylor.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, but you have to take the points when you can. Besh, you know, gets the free release. If you're a Baylor fan, you'd like to see the defense challenge him a little bit more at the line of scrimmage coming into the game. Top 10 receiver in terms of yards and touchdowns in college football. I know Williams has had the big night, but Besh showing how dangerous he is at the wide receiver position. Great route, great throw, great play call. And boy, do we have a ball game here in Waco late in the fourth quarter.
We said it, I don't know, 90 minutes ago, coming back out of the half, how even this game was. Total offense, the teams are separated by 4 yards. And now a minute 55 for Baylor, all 3 timeouts. As a quarterback about to come on the field here, as Sawyer Robertson is, as you were during your college and NFL career, how do you think about managing the clock in this situation?
Well, I think first off, these are the moments you live for. This is why you put in all the hours in the off season, the early morning workouts, the hot throwing sessions during the summer with your wide receivers. But now you have to calm down your mind, take a deep breath, and focus on the task at hand. You got to find a positive first play. Can't risk taking a negative play, but you got to trust your instincts in these moments. Robertson's been fantastic tonight.
A couple of years ago, TCU was the darling team of college football. They come here, and not only do they win on the last second. They have to rush the field goal team on. Griffin Kell, 40-yarder, as time expires, to stay perfect as they went to the national championship game. No doubt fans from both sides remember that, and Baylor has a chance to flip the script here and do to TCU what the Horned Frogs did to the Bears just a couple of years ago. Bryson Washington, 5 yards on first down.
Baylor just wants to get the clock rolling. They want to burn some time. They know they have 3 timeouts in their back pocket. Plenty of time to drive the field right here.
Washington again. They'll need to get a yard on third down.
Boy, if I'm TCU, I'm considering taking a timeout here. You want. I mean, it's 3rd and 1 here. You stop Baylor. You want some time to be able to go down and try to win the ball game. I understand it's 3rd and 1, and the probability says that Baylor's going to get this first down, but I would have considered taking a timeout there.
They don't, and we're inside a minute. A 3rd straight run, a first down across the 40. And Baylor's kicker, Isaiah Hankins, his long this year is 51. But on top of that, the wind has been blowing heavy tonight, and it's at their back on this drive.
Yeah, and the clock's rolling. At some point, you are going to have to put the football in the air.
Blitz comes off the edge. They pick it up. Throw over the middle is incomplete. Broken up on the edge by Bud Clark, the safety. Clock stops, 36 seconds to go.
That was an excellent play by the 2-time team captain, Bud Clark, getting a hand in there for the pass breakup. That was a good throw. But Bud Clark there to make the play for the Horned Frogs. 36 seconds. Got to find a chunk play. You mentioned it, wins at your back. But you got to get close to that 35-yard line for a decent try.
Here comes the blitz. It's Robertson on the move. His throw to the outside is complete to Josh Cameron. And they're across midfield.
And there's the chunk play the Baylor Bears needed. We mentioned it early. This is a great route by Josh Cameron on the outside, just running a basic comeback route on Canada. Those two have been going at it all night. Baylor really doing a great job executing this 2-minute drive. Positive first play to the drive. They've had no negative plays, and they just found their chunk play.
TCU blitzes again. This is a deep ball. Incomplete. Looking for Hal Presley.
Yeah, that ball just completely uncatchable. TCU bringing some pressure. Robertson trying to take advantage of the matchup outside.
And Brock, if they pick up a first down here, anything past the 35, they are in field goal range.
Yeah, no question. I think you know, for a game-winning field goal, you feel decent about the 36, 35-yard line, but obviously more is better.
They've got their full complement of timeouts, so they hand it off but get just one.
You know, that play call really surprises me. Sawyer Robertson's been playing some really good football as of late. In fact, He leads the Big 12 conference in quarterback rating, so he's been making good decisions with the ball. He's an accurate passer for the most part, but you're not in field goal range yet, right? And the clock's slowly starting to work against you. You still do have 2 timeouts. Maybe the idea behind that run play was try to get some positive yards, and then you can get a little bit more here on 3rd and maybe go for it on 4th.
We started out a 7-7 game, second touchdown of the game when Baylor scored 10 straight. This looms large. A missed extra point, and it could be 35-34. Instead, we are tied, and the pressure has been ratcheted up to 11 here in the 4th quarter. Still within Baylor's grasp, and a chance at redemption for Isaiah Hankins.
It's the miscues in these tight football games that always come back to bite you. You have a false start on the PAT unit. It's just inexcusable. Leads to a missed extra point, and now we stand all tied at 34.
3rd down, 9 to go as TCU shows pressure from both edges. Robertson, deep ball for Presley, incomplete, but there's a flag down at the 20. And a monumental announcement upcoming.
I think the officials are looking at defensive pass interference on Javon McIver. I disagree on this. We'll see if they end up picking up this flag or not. I can tell from the vantage point of the back judge what he saw. But with these replays, there's no defense.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference.
That is really good communication by the officials, getting in there, talking through all the angles that everyone saw. That is a really, really good no call.
What's your assessment of the decision to throw deep on 3rd down?
I didn't love it because ultimately you're just trying to pick up, 10, 12, 15 yards. You got to throw something, even a quick slant sometimes. You throw them at 5, 6 yards. It allows a receiver to break a tackle. I like high percentage throws in those moments, almost guaranteed completions.
And if they don't convert here, it's a short field for TCU with 2 timeouts.
I was just going to say, you have to be really, really careful. I understand you want to win the football game.
TCU's now got 1.
Timeout. TCU.
But yeah, I'm left a little perplexed by the decision
only
to take a low percentage throw there on 3rd down.
You're exactly right, Mike. And if you know that it's 4-down territory, if you're Dave Aranda and you've had a conversation on the headset with Jake Spavital and you know it's 4-down territory, we'll either run the football like you've been doing to try to make it more 4th and manageable, or once again throw a high percentage completion type play that you know is going to be a guaranteed completion. Just don't throw a go ball down the sideline.
Now, we've had plenty of scoring today. Both teams in excess of 400 yards. It's 4 straight wins in this series for TCU. They've taken 8 of the last 9. Nobody able to pull away in this game. The extra point missed in the 2nd quarter, looming large, and now a 4th down and 9.
Gosh, and what this means to both programs. TCU still in the hunt for the Big 12 title. Baylor trying to win 3 straight games for the first time in a long time. But if I'm in this situation, keep an eye at the top of your screen. You got to go to your go-to receiver, Josh Cameron. He's up here. He's been the hot hand at the wide receiver position all season long.
Just trying to get into field goal range. Robertson over the middle, and it's complete to Trigg. 1st down, right to the edge of field goal range and right between the hashes.
Timeout. Baylor.
What a great route by tight end Michael Trigg.
30 seconds in lane.
Working on linebacker Nnamdi Obiazor. Give credit to the offensive line, giving Robertson plenty of time to look down the field, go through his reads. You're going to see on the left side of your screen, Trigg, number 1, does a great job pushing vertical on the linebacker, Obiazor, and that's what gets Obiazor to open up his hips because he thinks the tight end's going deep. As soon as that moment happens, Trigg does a great job, breaks down, cuts across his face.
Please put 12 seconds on the game
Great
clock,
play
please.
execution by the Baylor Bears.
So, Brock, if they kick a field goal here, it's not taking all the time off the clock. Do you run it one more time to try and get closer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or take a knee, do whatever you want. But, yeah, I want to see this this clock get ran down inside of 4 seconds to make sure that it's the final play.
And they added 2 seconds. It was 10, now 12.
Yeah, and I expect Baylor here to hand the football off. Bryson Washington has had a great night for the Bears at the running back position. He'll be smart with the football. Expect a run here out of Baylor to kill some more clock.
He's run for 183. They just need a couple out of him here. He stays between the hashes, gets a great push downfield. They've got to be mindful of the clock. He stops at the 16 with 5 seconds to go. 13 yards, and this makes it a much more manageable field goal for an attempt at a walk-off win.
That's right, man. We're talking about burning clock. Make the field goal easier, and that's exactly what Baylor just did. Bryson Washington, monster night, 26 carries, 196 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But you got to give credit to that offensive line. They have just been sensational from the first play of the game. You see what they just did there. There was no air in that front. There was nowhere for Washington to go. And that offensive line, their surge, their push. I tip my cap to them tonight.
So it's going to come down to the left foot of Isaiah Hankins after Bryson Washington sets it up.
Let's go right back to this last run, the run that you're talking about that set up the more manageable field goal. You can see it. There's white jerseys all over that screen. There's nowhere for Washington to go. That offensive line, just an incredible performance tonight.
A chance to go off a winner for Dave Aranda to get his first win over TCU. 33 yards for Hankins. Timeout. TCU's last one.
Timeout. TCU. The third and final timeout of the half. 60 seconds in length.
Boy, there sure have been some great finishes to this rivalry. Add this one to the books. What a ball game we were able to witness here tonight. And now it comes down to the new father, Isaiah Hankins, with the opportunity to win the game. In-state rivalry. What a moment for Isaiah Hankins.
So it was last Friday. He and his wife Sadie welcomed their son Campbell. They win against Oklahoma State, and he has a chance at redemption here. Dave Aranda gave him 2 pieces of advice. One was just caffeinate. You're not going to sleep a lot. Certainly won't if he makes this one tonight. The other was savor the little moments. This is anything but that. This, as you said earlier, is what you dream of. 33 yards to leap in front. Kick on the way for Hankins, and it is good! If you couldn't hear, the game is not over. All right, ball game, Baylor. So Dave Aranda fells the foe that he had not been able to do 4 tries prior in his first 4 seasons as the head coach. And Isaiah Hankins missed extra point, helped keep it a tie game, and he's the hero with a 33-yard field goal try.
What a ball game here tonight. Both teams fought so hard. Terrific performance by both ball clubs. But Baylor able to make the final play. Isaiah Hankins, never a doubt. Just an unbelievable finish to a great football game here in the Big 12 Conference.
Somewhere in that mass of humanity, Stormy Bonantoni.
How would you describe that moment just there?
Again.
How would you describe this moment?
Man, this is surreal. I mean,
This is awesome. I mean, I don't know. My team got me in the right position to make the field goal, and we did, so pretty happy about it.
After the miss or extra point earlier in this game, how did you have to re-dial in for a moment like that?
That was honestly hard to dial in because we don't miss PATs. You know, that's routine kicks. So it was hard to dial in, but I'm glad we could get it going.
Was there any newborn added luck in that one?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Any added luck from the newborn in that one?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That one was for my son. Absolutely.
When's the last time that you were lifted off the field?
That has never happened. That has never happened. So, yeah.
Last thing for you before I let you go. In terms of this rivalry and where this program is at right now, how important is this moment and this win for Baylor?
I mean, this is so important. This is my 4th year here, and this is our first time beating them while I've been to Baylor. So that means a lot. This was a really big one.
Enjoy this moment.
Thank you so much.